god. Oh god.
And we might even have all the sound working all at once.
Wait,
Wow.
No,
This
don't
is
do
too
that.
much.
That
We're gonna
implies
explode.
That implies that we're professionals.
Did we break the internet? It might be a little too loud in some places. Let me turn the music down.
Hello?
Oh, we're on.
What? Hello?
Trying to dig clear out of my eyeball.
Who's the worthy?
Remember when I just said it made it seem like we were professional? Just kidding.
Ooh,
It's all a
You all
lie.
look
There it
good.
is.
You all look real good.
Oh,
Look at that.
whoa.
Hello. And everything sounds good. Look at that.
Let's go.
Listen,
Hey.
I ride the coattails of everything that we learn, before. So I was ready. I'm only ready
We
because of
learned
the
from
support
Tony's
of the team.
mistakes.
Except Tony and D are switch. Ah, damn it!
Oh no!
You're going
No,
for a
I'm
ride.
Tony.
Ready?
I'm totally Tony.
Okay, give me your best. Give me your best rolling then.
Yep.
Kiddo. Give me your best Dominic.
I take back everything I said. I'm not a professional.
Is that a lizard?
It's lizard. Lizard.
Listen.
No, that's for Morag. It's listen. First off.
Oh,
See, now I'm not going to be able to get back
You're
into
so
Dominic.
talented. You're so talented. It just blows
No.
my mind. Yes. You just
Oh,
look in and out of
my
it
bad.
like that. You just look in and out of it
I
like
just
that.
remembered
That's
I
awesome.
can't do that ever again.
Why?
I can't use Discord on my computer. I have to use it over here.
Whoops.
Because otherwise it makes you
folks.
all go away.
Yep, I learned that a couple times where it's like I would click something on Discord on the computer and it'd be like everybody's looking at like our channels. It's like, oh no!
Whew, okay,
All
anyway.
of our plot secrets.
Tony turned into words.
Welcome in to Reality Break, where we take a break from the real world to play some Dungeons and Dragons. And
Sorry, they're
as
aggressive.
always, we love that you appreciate our shenanigans and antics and all of the funnery, not the word I was looking for, that we get into. As you can see, we have
Every possible hullabaloo.
hullabaloo. That
It's like a
works much better.
factory for fun. The funnery.
The funnery, yes.
It's like a nunnery except
Get
way
deep
more
to the
interesting.
funnery.
Less
Music is still a
spiritual.
little bit loud. Thank you so much.
My head just went so many places with that.
Hold on. I need to
Yeah,
write
it
that
did.
down. Get thee to a funnery.
Get thee to a funnery.
Oh my gosh.
As you can see, we have
Guys,
a nice
when we
little
get our
new-
store up, it's gonna be great.
We have so many merch ideas. Drop them in the
so
suggestion
many.
box. As you
putting that
can
in
see,
the
we have this
Discord.
new layout where we have our real names. Gasp! Breaking the fourth wall. But this is to kind of separate our spiel time from the game time, and we have a wonderful, amazing thing to show you this week that was created by an amazingly talented musician and a wonderfully talented videographer, Christy.
I'm not the musician. Just to be clear.
She's both. She's the
No.
musician.
Hey, no,
And-
I've seen the concert. I've seen the wedding proposal video. You're a pretty good singer, so.
Does not mean I sing other people's stuff. I can't make music.
So
But-
we have a wonderful thing for you to see, and we have a nice beginning and ending screens that will sort of cap off the part of the game that is in character and out of character. So I
That's
think
all.
that'll be a lot of fun.
Let's all give Jeffrey a shout out. Jeffrey!
For Natural Jeffrey!
Right.
Natural
Also
Jeff.
for being VIP mod and helping us out, especially since I was not muted when we came back from break last time. That was awesome.
You are the VIP.
Rip.
VIP. Alright, so what do you say we get into this spiel since we've taken up all the spiel time? Let us let you know where to find us, what we're up to, and all of those very fun things. Tony, where can people hang out outside of stream to find us?
So we have a Discord server because it's 2023, and who doesn't have one? But ours is cool, unlike some of those boring ass ones. No, ours is called the Break Room. So we post all fun content on there. We have searching. The aspect that I like is the searching for games or searching for people. channels we have. So if you're a player looking to get into a game, or you're a DM looking to DM a game, you could pop in there, and we have people that are looking for, people to set up online games for and whatnot. And we just want it to be a hub. We want it to be a community hub for all things nerdy. It goes beyond D&D. There's Baldur's Gate conversations on there. Who's romancing who? How far have we gotten into Act 2? All the fun stuff. So go check us out on Discord. It is the Break Room, as opposed to those other fake, boring Discord servers. So
Watch out for impersonators. Thank you.
Squeezy.
got it.
And Dee, would you like to tell us about some things that people can do to help capture important moments on stream?
Watching. No, I'm just kidding. Clipping clips is a fantastic way to create short form content for us to put out there in the world. So anything you find funny, stupid, most likely one of those two with us, or just entertaining in the least, or honestly, if there was a snippet of something that maybe you didn't know about Dungeons and Dragons that we explained, clip it, title it, and then we can put that out there in the world. You can have it to remember us by, and you can learn in the process. Clips. Brought to you by Clips.
The real journey is the clips we made along the way.
I like that.
That's good. I'm gonna put that in the Discord too.
Write that down.
Write that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
Thank you. And we love clips. You'll see a bunch of clips on our BRB screen. Christy, do you want to tell us about that awesome deal we have going with those gorgeous treasure boxes you have?
Yes. So, I happen to have one right here. This is a dice box made by Hexwood Creations. Over at hexwoodcreations.com, you can also go to their TikTok page. Art is the woodworker who makes these lovely boxes. They're magnetic. They hold all your dice. There's a slot for like a tablet or a pencil. The top's a rolling tray. Art also makes wooden signs and cutting boards and little dice towers that actually like fit in the dice trays, and just all sorts of really cool stuff. And if you go to hexwoodcreations.com and put in the code RB20, that's Romeo Bravo 20, you can get a little bit of a discount. And he also knows that we sent you. So go check out hexwoodcreations.com for some really cool woodworking stuff. And he also, a lot of his stuff is commissions too. So you can buy the pre-made stuff, but you can also commission like special wood, special designs. You can get the little, like, in addition to the logo, you can get like stuff like written down there, so down in this part. So it's really cool.
So for the next big anniversary, Jeff.
I really want an insert because he also makes inserts. So like you can get inserts that go in between, so you can like stack them up. And I have too many dice, and so now I need an insert.
I'm hearing full custom box with a art for her characters.
Her face engraved on it.
Gorgeous work, though. It's gorgeous work. Please check it out for sure.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, high quality. Like, this is serious stuff. So go check it out.
Yeah, and Bill, what are some other ways that folks can find us and interact with us?
They can come right here to Twitch and check us out.
Besides that,
Other places.
Other places? You mean like TikTok?
what?
What? You could definitely go to TikTok. That would be an excellent way, because you know what? We have all kinds of nifty videos on there done by Dee, Tony, and also by Christy. All kinds of nifty things, all the things you could ever possibly dream of. It's such amazing content. You should definitely go check it out. I don't even want to give you a spoiler, because it's going to be so amazing when you check it out. You're just going to come back for more. Make sure that you give us a follow on TikTok and check it out, because it's going to be amazing.
And Christy had an awesome live doing some cosplay stuff. And we are now live on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I did a live last week, and I'm gonna try to do another one. I'm gonna try to make Sundays the live days, provided like it doesn't get too crazy in my life.
Yeah.
But it's actually hanging up there. I did some modifications to a cosplay wig right there, and I picked up some more stuff to do some more cosplay work. So hopefully that will be kind of the running theme for lives, and hopefully
Huge
other people will maybe like do some lives as well, because it's a lot of fun.
Maybe
I
Bill will
was-
teach you
I
how to
mean-
do TikTok.
Teach me how to TikTok, children!
How does one do the clock app?
Oh, I was just gonna say that.
Well, it's okay because Christy knows what yeet means.
Yeah, she does.
I
She
do
learned
know
that.
what yeet means.
That's amazing.
Well, we also have a couple of other socials. Our reruns can now be found on our YouTube. And is there anything else? Did I miss anything this time?
I don't think
That's
so.
all.
I think we covered everything.
Just the
We're
Insta.
good.
Just what?
Instagram.
Oh yeah, we're on
Graham with the
Instagram. We're everywhere. We're Reality Break 20 everywhere, which is amazing.
Yep. If you search for Reality Break 20, pretty much everywhere you can find us.
Yeah.
Including X.
Yeah, that thing.
Thanks.
I put up like a farewell message for where everyone can find us.
That's pretty much all it's good for at this point.
Yeah.
So, in wonderful anticipation, let us get ready to play some D&D.
Yeah.
Welcome back! What did you think of that, everybody? Isn't
No.
it gorgeous?
That was awesome, is what that was.
And that's the entire stream. Good night.
Bye!
Bye.
All right, bye.
That was so cool.
I
That's so
am.
cool.
I love it.
It
I
was.
absolutely love it. Thank you so much to Extraordinary Birds for the music. Thank you so much, Christy, for making that amazing video to go with it. Incredible. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Alright, let me be sappy for a second. That
Uh-oh.
was so freaking cool, and I'm so freaking proud of us for getting to this stage where we're making stuff like that and putting the effort and care into it. I
I love
thanks
us.
everyone.
Hashtag I love us.
Hashtag I love us.
Hashtag I love
of
us.
course, we wouldn't be motivated to do it without you folks out there. So thank you.
Viewers like you.
Absolutely.
Viewers like you.
Yeah. Viewers like.
When did
the
this
more you
turn into
know.
PBS?
It always does.
I like a
It
month
does.
ago.
What's the matter with pubs? Pubs.
Kiddo.
Nothing. I love
Pubs.
PBS, man.
All right.
You're watching a masterpiece classic.
Hold on, that threw me
It
off.
cut out, so we just heard.
No, I heard what you said,
But
but
the best part is like I heard the sound, like it cut out, but I still knew exactly the sound that you were making. That we were supposed to go into gameplay from the video, and now we're completely derailed.
Okay, everyone take a big
Oh,
deep
it
breath.
makes it like coffee everywhere.
Thanks, Davin.
that
Thanks,
legit
Dee.
sounded
Anytime.
like a TV lady.
Did you just call me Davin?
I did not. No, you didn't hear that.
Pardon me while I disconnect this phone call. Oh man, I'm crying.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh,
It was
I
good.
think
You literally threw me off because I thought a
Do we
video
need
was
to do
playing.
the thing again?
No.
I think you just
No, no,
I mean-
my
Alright.
blood
If we
pressure
need
through
it.
the
Oh, it was
roof.
totally worth it.
Oh,
Totally worth it.
All right. I mean, I have to say, that was also the first time that everyone has seen it like all up on screen like that. So it's very glorious.
True.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Christy and Jeff, for that. It's beautiful.
I've seen it
She's
so
seen
many
it 1,000 times because she made it.
so many times.
So tonight we have something special for the next two, probably two. We're hoping to get it done in 2, maximum 3 episodes. Is going to be a prologue style, flashback style thing for our characters to kind of show some workings of the world and how that connects to each character. So we're gonna have each character have a section of the stream where they're working. It's gonna look a little bit different for each character. And tonight we're going to start with our oldest and wisest character in our group,
Dominate.
Mr. Roland Longbeard, who is
Where's my lizard?
around 300 years old. Has seen a lot of Ocerrya in his adventures. Has seen a lot of the continent of Abruth, which is the continent we've been on this whole time. Has not left the continent. But he has a large family too, and when he settled down, he had a lot of stories to tell. And I think that is going to be the main starting point for Roland, sort of pulling up the chair with some grandkids on his knee in front of the fire at the at the home, not at the blacksmith.
No. We're a working class family, but we also appreciate the downtime away from the Gilded Hammer. Alright. So I imagine that I've got a gaggle of
Yeah, it
like
might be a problem.
8. That might be a problem. Okay.
Sorry, we've got some grinding sounds reported. It might be the music, so let me just let us know if it doesn't get better after he turns the fan off. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Alright, so how I imagine is we're sitting at our house, and most of the grandkids are within the ages of 8, maybe the oldest. So this is many, many years ago, especially in Dwarf World. So I'm sitting down, and I've got the gaggle of grandkids in front of me, and I say, "Hey, kiddos. I know we already had our delicious dinner. I know that you guys gonna be heading out, but who wants to hear one more story from Grandpa before everyone's gotta get going to home and get going to bed?"
Me. The voices just pop up, and of course, Ruby rolls her eyes and is like, I guess we're staying a little longer.
Oh, you love
Or
it,
Ogden,
especially.
sorry.
No, either way.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I mean, I would think they'd all be there, especially if all the grandkids
True,
were there,
yep.
most of them. But yeah, be like, yeah, well, especially you, Ruby. You're gonna, you know this one. You know this one. You're gonna love this one. So I kind of like lean in and I go, did I ever tell you guys about how you and your mom and the rest of your aunt Ruby, did I ever tell you how she got the name Ruby?
oh.
Oh, Dad, you've been telling that story since I was little.
But
Isn't
you
that
know
just
what?
something you made up for my name?
No, there's more to it than that. Come on now. So, no, I mean, you come on now. There's more to it than what she's just saying. It's not just something I made up. Could you imagine Mimon Natasha, if I just tried to throw a name at her without some background, she'd smack me upside the head. You know that. Love you, babe.
All of Pops' stories are real. We believe you. The little ones are like, oh yeah. And Miro's like, please, like just like staring at you, wide-eyed, like hanging on every word already.
Right. All right. So let me tell you the story of Ruby's namesake. So a long time ago, the group I was with was hired to find some children that had gone missing from a few local villages. You know why? Because they didn't listen to their parents or their grandparents and they wandered away.
Murmuring.
Yeah. That's right. So we got we were unofficial guards, city guards, and we tracked down leads and we investigated everything. And we looked for clues and we talked to people. And it took a long time, but we finally found our way to the Archdragon. Yeah. And back then, things were a lot different than they were now. There was a lot of bad things done by bad people. So we went down. We hunted down we went to the Archdragon Wharf, and what we had found is those kiddos, a lot of them around your age, were being sold to do work for people that were not nice and did not give them treats after doing a hard day's work.
Miro stands up, but that's not fair!
You're right, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. And I make eye contact with Ogden, and I'm like, future city guardsman, huh?
He sort of smiles and nods.
Yeah.
He's got a good heart.
Yeah. So, what happened is we found that these bad people were trying to get these kids onto a boat and sail them all across the ocean, which sounds cool, right?
A couple of them are like, yeah. A couple of them are like,
But they were getting sailed across the sea to do bad things and be forced to work all the time and just not have fun. So what did we do? So my group got together and we battled the bad guys. There was swords and there was shields and there was people throwing fireballs and there was magic and fighting, and I tell you what, I'm pretty sure I took out the most of them. I defeated the most bad guys that day.
oh my gosh, whoa, and the kids are like, what? A couple of them start standing up and pretending to sword fight.
All right. Don't poke out your sister's eye like you did, like you almost did last time. Settle down.
So Miro's actually didn't stand up, and he's like, how could the grown-ups let that happen to the kids?
I would like to roll an insight check to see if I could figure out why he would be asking that question.
Okay. You can use whatever you've got for his stats, that leveled or not.
Okay. Alright, so I will count it as level 7. Because I'm a level 7.
Unlimited power.
Ugh. That's not... Oh, okay. I forgot my bonus to that is not bad. So,
yeah, and this is also
9 plus 4... Yeah. Oh, would I... Does that mean I get advantage?
Well, and this is... A lot of these ones, since we know what happened, are kind of for effect anyway. So you take pause for a moment, like you said, because you wanted to ask that question. You're like, wait, are you okay, kid? Like... and you see it as a genuine, like, wait a minute. Parents, adults are supposed to take care. How did you end up having to save these kids? Why are there adults taking these kids, kind of thing? You know, so he's not. You feel like he's not questioning you. He's questioning the world in his eyes.
Gotcha. All right. And I kind of lean in close to him because I still want to obviously finish the story, so I'm not going to pull him aside right at that moment. But I'm going to lean into him and I'm going to say, look, like I said, kiddo, there's times when, sometimes the bad guys outsmart the good guys. But then it's up to the good guys to go ask for help to right the wrongs that the bad guys did.
And you helped the good guys.
Darn tootin' I did. So after this epic battle where we defeated all the bad guys and only a few of my friends got hurt, luckily. We were a pretty strong, tough crew at that point. So we defeated the bad guys and we got all the children off of this boat, and we started like letting the local city guard know that we had the kids to go get the parents and all that. So there was this short little elven girl. I'll never forget her. She was so scared, and all the kids are scared. Granted, some of the kids were like Miro here and being Mr. Tough Guy, of course. But a lot of them were scared. But there's this one short little elven girl that was terrified. I remember I grabbed her. I was holding her hand as we were taking her down the planking boardwalk. Yeah, I don't know boats that well. Onto the dock, off of the boat of the bad guys. So she was like so scared, and it's like I tried to talk to her, right? Because you know, Papa. I try to talk to people down and let them know that things are going to be okay if it's scary, but nothing I said could calm her down. So I needed something. I wanted something to, kind of help her, calm down a little bit and focus on the good things that were happening in that moment. So I'm digging into my pocket, and I'm digging into my pocket, and I'm digging into my pocket, and I finally find something. Pull it out. And it's this small, shiny, red ruby.
Ooh.
So I go down on one knee next to the girl. I mean, she's at this point almost as tall as me, and probably, even kneeling down is even worse. Yeah. Hey, short but proud, right? Yeah.
Short but proud.
Yeah.
The adults are like.
So then oh, Natasha, you love it. So then I hold the ruby up to the sunlight, and I let it shine through, and I say, hey, things are scary right now, kiddo. But you hold on to this. This is a magic ruby. It's a ruby of super bravery. And whenever you hold on to this ruby, it's gonna prove to you, to anyone that tries to mess with you, that you are super brave.
Yeah.
And I hand it to her, and she takes it, and she holds on to it the whole time. And that girl reminded me of you two when you were younger. It's like they had death grips on my legs. I walked into a room, you two had to waddle on past me or waddle with me. That girl, she had a tight grip on that ruby, and she had a tight grip on my pant leg, and refused to let me go until we got her back home and safe.
You have a grandchild that's doing that right now to you. One of the little girls.
Yeah,
Just like that.
And you are taking after your older sister. Cool, great. That's great. So then my adventures go on. I find Mima and Natasha. We fall in love. I drop her some. Yeah.
Couple of U's, a couple of ahs.
Yeah, of course. And we have our first child. And because I wanted to make sure that first child, that girl, was super brave, no matter what the situation, I thought about naming her the super most bravest thing ever, which is the Ruby.
Wow. And Miro has stopped looking so concerned, but he's had this very serious contemplative look on his face throughout the whole story.
Would it be something that I've seen before?
Yes, it's a determined look, and he looks like he's going to speak when you're done.
Okay. All right. And then I turn to Ruby and I go, so see, a little bit more than just making it up on the spot.
Yeah, I suppose you have told it the same way every time.
Yeah. You still love it every time.
Well, she was a lucky girl.
All right.
And Natasha's
Yeah,
like, as am
yeah.
I. As was I.
Yeah. Hey, Natasha, you remember that line I dropped on you when we first met?
You mean yeah, I'll say you dropped it.
Roland is
It took me
genuinely
a
hurt by
moment
her
to-
saying that.
It did take me a moment to get it. And the kids are like, wait, what? What? And Ruby's like,
Oh yeah, all right.
Did you pick
all right.
it up?
All right. So, all right. You kiddos, whenever you fall in love with somebody and they're a blacksmith like Mima is, you got to remember this line, okay?
Mima.
So, whenever, if you see that person that you're really interested in working on working on an anvil, you walk up to them and you look them in the eye and you say, "Hi, my name is," I'll say, "Rowan. It's me thrilled to meet ya." She says it doesn't work, but I tell you, she wouldn't be here if it didn't work, right? Am I right, kiddos?
And the kids are like, yeah. And Natasha's laughing. She's like, yeah. It was quite cute how you stuck to it and waited for me to get it.
I totally picture all the little kids be like, yeah! What does that mean? I don't know.
I'm happy. And I look at Natasha and I go, yeah, I'll take that. That's fine. I've accepted that in life. I say, all right, well, now that I've kept you kiddos up a little bit later than your normal bedtime, it's everyone gotta head out.
And the parents
No,
are like,
no.
Let's go.
Yeah, you know, Ogden and Ruby, they'll have my hide. And if you want to hear a story tomorrow, then we better stop tonight. So.
Okay. And they all start filing, like getting ready to get up and get their shoes and stuff. And Miro's still sitting there, and he kind of seems to have been waiting for the stuff to come to a stop or slow. And he is just looking at you like you've seen this look before because you've had conversations with him because he's always seemed very interested in your adventures.
Sure. All right, so I lean down and I say, "What's on your mind, kiddo?"
I want to make sure that when I get older like you, that I can help the good guys because no one should be helping the bad guys.
No, you're absolutely right. And look, when you get older, you'll have that chance as long as you take your time and follow the right path, right? Because I'm here to help you along the way. Your dad's here to help you along the way. Your aunt and your uncles, your grandma, we're all here to help you along the way. Okay? But don't worry, you will get a chance if you stick to it and you do the right thing. You will get a chance to help the good guys.
Okay. And he's always had this sort of like rigid, like, wait, someone has to do something. He's always done that with his siblings. Yep. He's always done it with, you know, school children and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. So before they all leave, I kind of grab Ogden real quick, and I say, "How's he been doing around the kids at school and stuff?"
I mean, he's fine, but the only problem, I guess you could say, is he's everyone's protector. He's got to stand up for everyone. Every time there's a disagreement, every time there's a bullying incident, he's over there creaming someone if he thinks it's bad enough. And, you know, I've had to explain to him that it's good to stick up for people, you got to get adults involved because, you know, just wailing on someone isn't always the right option.
Hey.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And Roland's like, yeah,
yes, it
is. Wrong campaign. Yeah. So Roland at that point's like, yeah, no, that sounds familiar, but you know,
it's all coming from the
as
right
long
place.
as he's still, yeah, that's what I'm worried about. All right, well, you let me know if any more shenanigans come up, and you know, we'll do my best to get them straightened out. All right.
Yeah, we're getting him into some of the kids' programs through the Guard. Like, a bunch of us other guards have kids that get to come and do some training stuff to kind of get their emotions out. And at the same time, they're kind of learning, you know, respect and the code of what it is to be protecting people. But it's on a kid's level,
right.
You know? out of game, like
Oh,
essentially
great.
like martial arts for kids, you know.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, and Roland's like, that's great. Yeah. Will you just let me know if any more shenanigans happen? All right. I kind of clap him on the shoulder.
You got it, Dad.
All right. Well, good night, kiddos. All right, come on, one more hug for the road. Come on, get over here.
And we go.
So do little dwarves have little goatees?
Well, I mean, they're
They have,
considered
like, a 5
children
o'clock
even
shadow.
at 50 years old. So yes, they have beards. Dwarf children have beards. Yes. Because they physically mature
Come out of
at
the-
about the same rate as humans, but they're not considered adults until they're over 50. So.
They may be shorter.
Come
but
out of the
their life is
womb
not.
with a 5 o'clock shadow.
All right.
All right, so what's next?
So a little bit of a fog as we sort of feel the time slip past us. Woo. To a time when
Time slipping into the
Roland
future.
is, I mean, not Roland, Miro is
Nice.
just barely considered an adult, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, so like 18, 19, something like that, yeah.
So he is, it's dinner time. Everyone's already having dinner. The whole family that is around is here. And Miro, over dinner, Ogden has been sharing with you some of his concerns, and Miro has not yet gotten to dinner. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Just like always, his heart's in the right place, but he thinks he's going off to join the heroic hunters like right now, and he's not ready. He's just not ready for it. I told him he could join the guard, get some experience in, really get a handle on what he wants to do with his life, and not just go off gallivanting across the countryside before he's ready.
And I'm just like, flashbacks. I don't want to quite say PTSD, but a little bit of that, like, oh crap, I remember that. Is going through my head while he's saying this. So like I'm like looking at him and I'm registering his words, but at the same time I'm also like,
Yeah.
shit, this show all over again kind of thing. So
He's like, ever since he heard about the revolution in Alake, I mean, he knows it happened before he was born, but he wants to make that happen. He said that, he's heard from people that people are making it happen down in Pub Van Keep and Archdragon Wharf, and he's going to be a part of that. And it's like, there's a reason why no revolutions have taken hold there yet.
I know. It's that revolution is obviously good for a lot of things, but there's aftershocks that nobody is recognizing. And the last thing we want him to do is get sucked in at this point, especially when he's, barely got a beard at this point. All right. Maybe coming from a different perspective, let me try to talk to him after dinner.
I'm hoping so. He was supposed to be here for dinner. I'm not quite even sure where he is. And kind of like on that note, on cue, you can hear the door open. And Miro's like, he's like, hey! You can hear his much more grown-up voice than the small child who was looking at you very intently. And he walks...
Yeah, and a little bit of me remembers back to story time.
Yeah.
When he was like that age, so.
And he walks in walks Miro, a young dwarf with a short beard and bright eyes, in traveling clothes, wearing a backpack. And he walks in, he's like, I just came to grab some food. I'm actually getting ready to head out tonight. And instantly Ogden stands up and he's like, well, Miro, hold on.
All right. I kind of take Ogden. I go, let me have a chat with him. First.
And Natasha's like, why don't you at least sit down and eat some food?
Gotta listen to me, Ma. You know her. She's the smartest of us all.
And Miro's like, well, I can't say no to a good meal since I don't know the next time I'll get one. And he sits down at the table and starts shoveling it in.
I die a little bit. All right, so then I come over, I grab my plate, and I sit down like next to him.
Ruby kind of starts clearing of the table from everyone else because this was getting towards the end of dinner and sort of ushering any children that are at the table away.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there. I said, so tonight, no warning, no nothing.
I mean, there's been warning. I've been talking to Dad about it for weeks now. It's not the heroic hunters. I got in with the quick swords. But as soon as I get a couple of things done for them, I'm going to have a sure spot in the heroic hunters. And I don't care what anyone says, there is a revolution that's building down south. And I'm going to be a part of it.
Right. Well, let me just...
He hasn't stopped eating. He's kind of like me talking with his mouth full.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. It's like, you know that those quick swords are just lackeys, right? You know that they shove... Those are the ones that get shoved in the front lines. They're the ones that are in the dirt. They're the ones that are doing the dirty jobs. The ones that, it takes training and it takes years for people to get into something like the quick swords. And to have the mental fortitude to withstand it. You know that, right?
Yeah, I do know that. I've been trying to get into the heroic hunters since I was like 25 years old. And I mean, ever since I heard about everything that they've been doing to people that don't live in a city where they actually get to control their own rules and their own lives, it's not fair. It's not okay. And yeah, the quick swords are kind of like, if you go to a big battle, it's going to be more like, just fodder. But the deals that they wanted to give us are a route down through Green Breach, and then down towards along the coast. And we're going to be doing some really quiet stuff while I get a name for myself in the quick swords, so that by the time that I get down south, I'm ready to be helping the revolution, which is being led by the heroic hunters.
So the fodder word, like that, like stops me mid fork thing.
And Ogden just like.
I go. You realize you just referred to yourself as fodder, essentially.
No, listen.
You know
if
that.
I was going down get into the battle right now.
Listen. No, you listen. I did the same thing when I was your age. And it took me a long time to get anywhere where I needed to be, and I got lucky. I've seen plenty of guys like you, and I just called him guys. I've seen guys like you that come up all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, thinking they're ready for the world when they have no experience with anything. You really need to be listening to your dad's advice about joining the city guard, getting some practical training, some practical experience, because I am and I do not mean this in a good way, I am the one in a million that got lucky to make it as far as I did, taking the path that you're going to take. There's 99% of the other folks out there that did this that ended up at the bottom of a bottle or in the bottom of a grave. You are not ready for this.
You think that you're the only person that had the passion and the drive and the luck to make a difference? You didn't even fight in a revolution. And Ogden's like, Nero! And he's like, neither did you! And he stands up. None of you care enough to actually free people. And you just want to hold me back. And I'm sick of it! He slams on the table, and Natasha's like, Miro, please! And he's like, no! I'm done with this! And he shoves his plate away. He says, I'm gonna help change the world, whether you want me to or not, and whether you're gonna help or not. And he grabs his backpack and he storms out.
I go out. I try to follow him.
Okay.
Is he power walking, or is this like a full-on sprint?
As soon as he gets to the door, he's sprinting.
Yeah. Should I try to do something to keep up with him?
Let's say this one will be chance. So go ahead. We'll just do
right.
Straight 20s. Oh.
Okay.
Might get him.
Yeah, I got a 4.
You caught him. Just barely. You're like, so he's, just as he's about to book it, you're able to kind of get a hand on him.
Yeah,
And he's like,
ready.
let go of me! You don't understand!
No. You asked the question. Do I think I'm the only one? No, I do not. But what I do, and what I did the entire time I was out there was I played the smart odds. I knew I was the one in the million. And what I realized after that is I needed to play it smart. Because 99% of the people did not end up where I did. And that's what you need to do. You need to play it smart. You need to stay here. You need to get to the city guard. You've got an inn. It's a good paying job that'll get you the training you need. And then who knows, 5-10 years down the line, then you can look to go and save the world. But for right now, what you need is you need to be smart about this. Because if you're not smart about this, you're going to end up making decisions, or decisions will be made for you that you're going to regret.
He looks at you, just stares at you for a long time, and you can see that brightness in his eyes, but it's almost a burning instead of the brightness that you always used to see. And he's like, you don't understand. Nobody in Alake sat around waiting to make the right decision. And the ones that did are dead. And the people in Jameth are a joke. And now there's people that need help. And I'm in a position to help them. I'm not doing this completely out of the blue. Dad may not have been agreeing with it, but I've been talking to Dad about it for a while. And I've told you a long time that this is what I wanted to do. And I can't keep playing it safe when I know that I can help.
Well, looking him square in the eye. You promised me this. Your mind is made up. I can't talk you out of that. But what you need to do is you need to think not with your heart. You gotta think with your head. Because it's very easy to make decisions here, but it's the decisions up here that will save your life.
I'm not going alone, and I've been telling Dad that. I'm going to be with a group of experienced adventurers because I'm new. All new recruits get put up with a team of experienced adventurers. They said they've been doing the same thing for a long time. I know I can do this. Just like you would have if the situation had presented itself to you. You saved that little girl. You saved those other people from the monsters that were attacking them. You helped. You said you helped some sort of rebels.
This all hurts. I did. Which is why I'm not going to drag your dad out here and have him cuff you and put you in jail.
He's fighting a smile.
Because you know I would.
He can't arrest me for not listening to him.
I don't think you would want to try to even make that argument at this point.
This indignance, this like the almost teenage indignance. I'm not going to be stupid about it.
Well, if I hear through the grapevine, because you know me, I've got sources. I'm an old man, but I'm an old man that still knows a ton of people out there. If I hear that you've fallen in the wrong crowd, or I heard that you made some poor choices, I will personally grab my warhammer off of that mantle that has not moved in a very long time, and I will drag your ass back home, and I will throw you in jail myself.
Well, who knows? Maybe instead you'll be hearing about the revolution down south, and I'll have helped make it happen.
All right, I offer my hand.
And he takes it, and he shakes it hard.
I pull him in for a hug.
He hugs you very hard.
I finish the hug, and I say, save the world, but be smart about it.
Just tell my dad you didn't catch up to me.
He wouldn't believe me if I told him, so...
He smiles, and he turns and starts trotting off.
All right. And I just stare. I turn around and start walking back, going, "Oh, Ogden's gonna kill me."
All right, so is going in the door going to be the portal?
Are we gonna move on to another thing?
That's okay. Yep.
All right, present time.
So,
Opens the door. Ogden, we gotta talk.
yeah, so as
Pretty
he's
much.
walking into the door, the sort of scene fades. Maybe even to him walking out of the door at Olga's.
I think it would. If we're doing that, I power walking out. I get into the alleyway outside of the shop. I just do that thing. Like I've got the.
Oh yeah, so
breastplate,
quickly, just for anyone who didn't know, when we did leave off in chapter 1, they met Olga at the Nasty Pasty and were checking out her stolen wares, and there was a beautifully crafted breastplate with Natasha's signature mark, confirmed by Roland to be Miro's breastplate. And Roland didn't really stop to listen for a full explanation, just that it came from a shipment from the Black Sails.
Yep. And I think we will end Roland's thing. So I'm gonna have the breastplate in my hand. I'm gonna walk out into the alleyway. I'm gonna just kind of do that. And then I just kind of slam my back against the wall of a building, and then just drop down on my butt, and then just start crying.
Yeah. And is that Roland is fearing the worst?
Yep. That's I think that's where we'll leave him for right now.
Which is also a quite appropriate, though sad, point to take us into our break. But I hope this has given a very much more full picture of what Roland brings to his story, where, especially with his outburst with Dominic and his caring for Dominic and wanting to protect Dominic.
He said the thing.
He said the thing. What was the thing? I did want to know that.
He said the thing. The think with your brain, not with your heart, or whatever it was.
Did he say that to Dominic?
Oh, PTSD. Deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, when Dominic went haywire or whatever and was running out, and he started going ham on him the first time. That was the first time he.
Yep.
Didn't you call him Miro at that point?
Yep. I called halfway through that conversation. I called him Miro, and I said, "You got to think with your heart. You think with your head, not with your heart."
Yep.
That was beautiful.
Good catch.
You said that, and my brain went.
Good catch. Good catch.
Yeah, and I think that, the story that you picked is a wonderful sort of intro to the adventures that Roland had. He tells the story of the wyvern all the time, sort of. He tells the basics of he says, "Have I ever told you about the story of the wyvern?"
Story of the wyvern.
No.
But just
We'll
that
never know.
Roland has this perspective, this old perspective on the world that no one else in the party has. That, there are some things that are common knowledge, but that Roland has seen a lot in the history of this continent, so... And that was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for helping set it up.
So let us take a break, and we will transfer to a very different kind of story when we come back from our break. Enjoy our clips, and get a snack, and go potty, and all of those other things that you need to do, and we'll see you in a few moments.
That's good. Well, because I was worried because your friends seem to get mad at you.
Friend is a loose term. See, I say friend because while I don't really have any friends like you all, I have things that don't kill me, and I count that as a good thing.
That is
Thing
right.
usually.
Yes,
I lived a life a long time ago, so I understand.
right.
You
So
do
would-
also call everyone
Would you
your friend.
consider us
I do.
friends?
I do.
I would like to say that we are friends. Are we friends?
Well, we haven't killed you yet.
Well, then in my
Cockney rhyming speak, so I have something. I'm gonna butcher it, so I apologize ahead of time.
Yes,
So I'm going to respond. I'm gonna respond. We're having a butchers for some real bucks that have been off-inching some bees and honey. These tea leaves have been showing their boats around the frogs and scoppering off. There's been some real bonny over it. We're helping out the ducks and geese to stay out of a flowery dell, and you'd be a real treacle tot if you could pass along any brass tacks.
All right.
Goes to kiss her and closes the door in his face.
Licks the door. Why did you do that?
Why do you go in tongue first? Learn your lesson.
Natural Jeff.
so.
He is indeed a natural.
He is a natural Jeff.
We rolled a natural Jeff.
He is not a box Jeff. He's natural Jeff.
Yeah. So organic, not from a box.
Yeah.
Grass-fed.
Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's natural Jeff.
There you go.
Looks at you, Morag.
It wasn't about taking away your choices. It was about putting magic in the right hands.
Nice. I like it.
Nice.
Hat off.
You're bringing the bodies?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we loaded up the bodies.
That's right. We were
onto-
tying up and doing the dragging thing.
Yeah.
So we didn't just leave them in the
Oh.
woods. Yeah.
You're dragging bodies down the road on your cart?
We're not
We
dragging
made
them down
a-
the road. They're on
We
like
made a
little
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a sled. Like a sled.
We're not barbarian.
We're not just gonna leave them in the woods. Come on.
Is I'm not
Jeffrey,
a
that's
mutt.
the dogs. That's the dog.
Well,
Did you
thank
hear
you
it
for
in
telling
your
me,
mind?
Natasha.
Did you hear that in my
He
mind?
can talk.
Oh, and you must be the Jeffrey.
There it is. The
Now I want to hear that in Dominic's voice.
Yeah.
I will gladly give you a hug if you please sneeze into this jar. Thank you.
And he looks at you longingly. And hold on. Gotta check something. Gotta check something. Hold. Hold.
Was that good for longing?
Longing.
Yes, this is how the actual people you're training.
Now I need to
There's
rock
basically
bucket.
50 elven children going all over the place. So,
Oh!
but with axes because it's axe training day.
That's it. That's it.
Cause we feel alright, let me build up your might as I sing my song. Care to sing along? I'll be doing this till you knock 'em down, or the songs run out, or the songs run out.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm so inspired right now.
Yeah.
So you gave me the necklace, and I love
I-
it.
Thank you.
Do you still have the other half?
Of course. And he kind
Good
of
to
like,
see it.
yep, he, kind of ruffles
Oh,
his
he's
shirt
wearing
and pulls
it?
it out. Yep.
Okay.
The thing where the smoke comes out.
Chimney! There you go.
Really? Really? I'm kidding.
That's amazing. That's so good.
It was mostly the face with a.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yes, go start.
But you got to perform, but outside of that,
Absolutely. My inspo makes all the rules less hard, and you all can thank this bard. And you're damn right. I pulled that card, and I could teach you, but I'd have to charge.
Love it.
Woo!
A round of applause. Round of applause.
Give him a hand.
A hand.
Now this, goblin knot. It's not a plant I've ever heard of, but it could just be another misspelling. Because maybe that K is an S. He sort of turns the paper a little bit. Yeah, that must be what it is. Parvovis cabolus muca involta. Goblin snot. Bugbear boogies. Used in pungent poultices and unctuous ointments due to its veritable viscosity. It binds ingredients together, provided you don't care how noxious the result is. For reasons I'm sure you can imagine, I don't keep any around. You'll have to ask a goblin.
You realize, Jeff, that for now and forever, every time someone says your name on stream, we're gonna be like,
Jeffrey!
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Y'all were like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" So,
Yeah. 21.
That's fair. Jesus.
Oh.
On a stealth check?
It's +7.
this little boy
Jesus.
has a mission.
Oh,
today,
for
apparently.
dexterity.
How do you have so many huge pluses?
And so, just
I've
to
got
be
a
clear,
lot of
Dee,
huge
you're, like,
things that you don't
literally
know
right.
about.
That needs to be clipped.
Good job.
Y'all.
Both. It's a mix of both.
Found something you have.
you're also blowing out on the mic.
Yeah, that's very true.
Be here all night.
Oh.
And by all night, I mean
God.
for another hour.
Looks like that.
I can't see that.
Right there.
Oh, okay. I would like you to.
There's a picture in the Discord. Yeah.
Fine. We don't have to do it then.
She's a very plain widow.
No. And like the metal of the armor is just gonna kind of like ripple up my arm and just show like the nub, and then it will come back.
Yeah, what if Xing did it?
Like very Terminator style.
Look at my nub.
Dun 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 dun.
That needs to be clipped.
Ask me about my nub.
Ask me about my nub.
Yes, exactly.
Take my strong hand.
There's like a vein popping out in your forehead, turning red.
This is my happy vein.
Happy vein. I got closer than last time. She looks at you and she goes, impressive.
So happy.
That's the exact same thing he said to you in the dream.
Go on.
That's it.
Fuck.
I am not Matt Mercer. Hi, I'm off-brand Matt Mercer. Great value, if you will.
Great value, Matt.
Mert Master.
Mert Masser. Oh shit! No, I'm just Devin. It's fine.
And he's out of earshot at this point.
I'm just gonna yell back, thank you!
Bye.
Bang bang!
With my gauntlets. I'm not petty at all.
Nope. not at all. And bye.
Oh my God.
3 halflings in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is.
Oh my God.
We are doing
Okay.
that at some point because there are 3 of us.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
There
It
you
needs
go.
to be done. And I have
Alright.
a trench coat.
Alright. But I'm
We like clips.
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 Clips are very important.
You should definitely make clips of today. If you don't, I will find you, and I will TPKO you.
Yeah, the music sounds great, but I can't hear you at all. Oh, there it is.
So that was pro
Oh no, so
streamer
they
move
didn't
right there.
hear the
Pro
Yeah.
strip.
Professional streamer.
absolutely professional.
Yep.
That is what we do.
I want to do this for real when I grow up.
That's good. Well, because I was worried because your friends seem to get mad at you.
Friend is a loose term. See, I say friend because while I don't really have any friends like you all, I have things that don't kill me, and I count that as a good thing.
That is fine.
Usually.
Yes.
I lived a life a long time ago, so I understand.
Right, right.
You do also call everyone
Would you
your friend.
consider us friends?
I do.
I would like to say that we are friends. Are we friends?
Well, we haven't killed you yet.
Well, then in my
Cockney rhyming speak, so I have something. I'm gonna butcher it, so I apologize ahead of time.
Yes,
So I'm going to
yes.
respond. I'm gonna respond. We're having a butchers for some real bucks that have been off-inching some bees and honey. These tea leaves have been showing their boats around the frogs and scoppering off. There's been some real bonny over it. We're helping out the ducks and geese to stay out of a flowery dell, and you'd be a real treacle tot if you could pass along any brass tacks.
Alright. Goes to kiss her and closes the door in his face.
You got a tongue in the door. Why would you do that?
Why do you go in tongue first? Learn your lesson.
Natural Jeff.
So,
He is indeed a natural.
He is a natural Jeff.
We rolled a natural Jeff.
he is not a box Jeff. He's natural Jeff.
Yeah. So organic, not from a box.
Yeah.
Grass-fed.
Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's natural Jeff.
There you go. Looks at you, Morag.
It wasn't about taking away your choices. It was about putting magic in the right hands.
Nice. I like it.
Nice.
Hat off.
Ooh.
You're bringing the bodies?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we loaded up the bodies.
That's right. We were
onto-
tying up and doing the dragging thing.
Yeah.
So we didn't just leave them in the
Oh.
woods. Yeah.
You're dragging bodies down the road on your car?
We're not
We
dragging
made
them down the road. They're on
We
like
made a
little
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a sled. Like a sled.
We're not barbarian.
We're not just gonna leave them in the woods. Come on.
Is I'm not.
Jeffrey, that's the dog. That's the dog.
Did you hear it in your mind? Did you hear it on my
You
mind?
can talk.
Oh, and you must be the Jeffrey.
There it is. The Jeffrey.
Now I want to hear that in Dominic's voice.
Yeah.
I will gladly give you a hug if you please sneeze into this jar. Thank you.
And he looks at you longingly. And hold on. Gotta check something. Gotta check something. Crazy.
Welcome back, friends.
Welcome back.
Aww.
Greetings. Hello.
Welcome back to Reality Break 20, where we take a break from the real world to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
We are doing some...
I hope everybody.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
hope everyone is recovered.
Yes.
Everyone's
From that
good.
very intensely emotional, and I have to warn you, it's not going to get better. This is a series of prologues for our characters, sort of telling what's happening in their worlds and what led them here, and also how they relate to our world as a whole. Roland, who had a not so tragic backstory as it was advertised in the very beginning, just showed some of the tragic parts of his backstory. But it was beautifully done, and Roland is a very intricate character, and it's been a lot of fun having these conversations with Tony, and I am super proud of how that came out, and I hope that you feel the same.
Absolutely, that was fun.
Does anyone need to say anything before we get back into the mode?
Hope everyone went potty.
Yes, I hope you went potty and got a drink and did all those things. I hope you enjoyed our clip reel.
Or forever hold your pee.
If you want to get in on our clip reel, you make some clips for us, and then, one thing leads to another.
One thing leads to another.
So,
one thing leads to another.
I'm about to switch up some pretty sad music on you as we get into another prologue. And this song is called Promontory, and I don't know what that means.
Word of the day.
Do you want to read the definition?
I don't know.
You want me to read it?
Sure. Did you look it up?
Nighttime on a rocky cliff top is a great place to reminisce.
Oh, that's the name of the song. I mean, I don't know what the word means, though.
Oh, the actual word itself means?
That's all.
I think it means just like perch.
Yeah, and maybe
or,
thinking. Yeah.
Like overlook or something like that.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. So, and I love that the chat loved to see the new intro again. I like to see it in there. So this, as we sort of fade mist back into some rewinding, our friend Ramasha's story takes place starting 6 years ago, whereas Roland's story started over 50 years ago. Ramasha's story is just over 6 years ago, or just around 6 years ago. And we begin the story with Ramasha sitting on the back of a ship, chained in manacles, shackles, looking at the smoke rising from his home island, and carrying with him the weight of having just fought alongside his tribe, and having seen his people decimated and taken by the infamous Black Sails. And as he wistfully goes by the island of spirits, where all the tribes would bury their dead and pray to their gods, he found himself very, very, almost desperately singing a song of his people.
Which I will translate so you can understand what's being said.
It's just a bunch of meowing.
Yeah. My island fading in the distance, not knowing what's in store. I look into the island of spirits, hoping to see them all once more.
My heart is filling up with dread, as the only sound that fills my head is the boom of the roaring shores. The roaring shores, the roaring shores, as we disappear into the mist, all we hear are the roaring shores. There it is.
And in that night, you are surrounded by other weary and heartbroken people that you know well. The remainder of the tribes that thrived on your island. The few men and boys that happened to be taken prisoners. And some of them sing the song with you. Others are trying to comfort each other. And there's a lot of asking why. Why would they do this? From the young ones. And the older ones kind of just trying to quiet them in that moment.
There is no why, child. They don't care. All you can do is look forward to what we have now, for there is nothing left behind.
And I would say that is a sad fade out. But only a few days later, we would see that you have sort of been making your way on the ship. Quickly, you sort of saw the dynamic of the fact that most of the crew are the people you were fighting, but there are members of the crew that must obviously be other captured people, because you did not see them manning any cannons, you did not see any guns in their hands, but now you see them on the boat swabbing the deck and doing other chores. One of them being a surly man named Mugwort, who you kind of quickly took a liking to for his disdain for his captors and always being willing to spit in their face and take a beating for it. And as you have sort of spent your days, you've seen that some of the slaves are kept in the cages if they are crying or not doing anything or don't seem able to be doing anything, but that people who make themselves useful or look useful have been given an opportunity to come out with some basic restraints, so they wouldn't be able to swim away, but to come and swab the decks and serve the other pirates.
Probably like some weights on their ankles or something.
Kind of thing. Heavy manacles.
Yeah, something, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And you were among them because you were seen as physically hardy, and you decided that definitely was better than being in the cage. And I believe that there was something else going through your head that you discussed with Mugwort, or...
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. It seems to me you are a man of great understanding of how things work around here.
I've been here longer than I care to admit.
Shh. They're coming.
I go back to sweeping and mopping. And Mugwort is a tabaxi like you, but very scarred as well. His back has many scars, very clear that he's been whipped a lot. And his manacles are not like yours. His shackles are not like yours. They're not as heavy. They're not as... it's almost as if he's proven he's not going to run off.
Do they trust you?
Much as they would trust someone they don't see as a person. You get on their good side. You get little treats. You get little freedoms. But if you kiss their ass, you get more, but I'm not willing to kiss their ass.
That's why I'm talking to you. I've had enough of this. They killed my family. I will have them destroyed.
I like the way you think, friend. I thought like you once. You know they killed my family too. You can probably assume that for anyone on this boat. But, I don't know. It would take quite a I don't know, an act of the gods to get a bunch of shackled up prisoners to go against these folks.
After what just happened, I don't know if I believe in the gods, but I believe in myself, and I believe in you. We can do this. We must do this, or it will be the last thing I do. I do not mind joining my family, but I'm going to take as many of them as I possibly can and try to prevent it from happening to others. Never again will this happen to another person as long as I breathe.
You're really serious about this?
Yes, I am. I lost my sense of humor on that island.
We've all lost everything, friend. There are some here that would possibly stand with us.
I don't remember. Is Mugwort one-eyed?
He's not completely one-eyed. He's got scars.
He's just got a scar. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Okay.
There are some here who would stand with us, but there are also those that like the, I don't know what you call it, stability, I guess. Like knowing what to expect. There's some that have accepted their fate, and they will tattle. Sorry, they'll run to the Black Sails any moment. They'll happily tell on any sort of whisperings against them. We've seen people beheaded for less.
What island are you from?
The other one!
Pulling a Tony.
I grew up on Terranol. My folks worked in the mines.
But you also are of the tribes. So you too are quick, and you know the hunt. There'll be no time for them to go and spill the news.
Well, Masha, I think you just brought me back my humor. You know, I just realized the only ones on this boat that would tell are not of our kind. And he sort of laughs bitterly. He goes, only the tribesmen understand.
We can do this. There is no other answer.
So, over the course of I would say this is a little bit of a fade. Over the course of this is a 2-week journey. And over the course of the next week or so, you and Mugwort sort of started setting your alliances. Mugwort sort of helped you find out who was serious and who would gladly tell on you in order to get favor. Which,
also finding out, I'm assuming, where we're going and trying to form a game plan.
Which would also have come out another of the times that's sort of where we can come back into where Mugwort and his friend Tayor have been sort of like laying down some stuff for you. So you're in the room. It's not private, but when everyone's passed out and the guards, you know the schedule of the guards checking, so you know you have some time to talk at night sometimes. So Tayor has sort of brought some information to talk to you about, and it sort of comes in and he's like, so I did hear that we're not going straight all the way up to the hub in Agrath, but I heard they need to stop for supplies. So it does sound like we're going to be making a stopover at Black Sails Bay, which is only a couple of days from here. And if we stopped there, if you really were serious about this, and by the number of people we have that are willing to actually do it, if we do take the lead, because if we fall, everyone's going to give up. But I think that with what you were talking about, I can't even I think that if we were to get everybody ready, and I think that you said you had a plan for like how to keep it on the down low.
To a degree. We all know what we know. We are all excellent at keeping to ourselves, especially when needing to be quiet. We will do our best, but we must work together.
And we were going to do it in the under cover of night, and you wanted to wait until we were just about to come up on the island, right?
Well, we just found out that we're going to the island, right?
Or, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm skipping a little.
Sorry.
Leading a little, sorry, my bad.
With this little bit of time, we're going to have to act quickly. We're going to need weapons. We're going to need to act fast. Someone's going to need to distract. As well as storming the top. But you and I, pointing to Mugwort, we're going for the captain. Tear down the head of the snake, and the rest of it will fall.
Well, we'll have to get the captain and the second mate, because the first mate's over on the other ship, but yes.
We'll have to do this quietly and try to get to them before they sound the alarm. But we must plan just in case they do.
That might happen pretty quickly. They're not stupid. But I do believe in you, and the children have been grabbing what they can every time that they're not seen. So we do have a small store of ropes, a small store of weapons, and we have the key to the crate of the weapons that were stolen from your island. So I think as long as we play it smart, it's going to work.
It is going to work.
It's going to work.
What will happen if they do sound the alarm? What happens?
It depends on how long the alarm sounds, but obviously the other ship, it's not a full fleet anymore. There was 3, but what's left, I know that the first mate on the other ship will try to investigate as soon as he can, if he hears the alarm at all.
This is good. Then we don't have to go to them. We'll bring them to us.
I like the way you think.
The more of them that die, the better. Let us do it.
Oops, it switched anyway, so, yeah. All right. I was wondering why the music sounded so intense.
It's the heartbeat. It's the race.
All right, so a little bit of a foggy mist comes over us as we skip to a couple nights further in the middle of the night before they come into dock at the island. And the slaves that are on board with your plan have been ready with you, are getting into position. Each person has some sort of a basic weapon and or their claws, because lots of these people are tabaxis, and are ready to sort of take over. The pirates had been excited about reaching safe haven after 2 weeks on the ocean, and after a very hard fought battle that they think that they won. And so they happened to party a little heavily that night as they came into the docks. And why don't you tell us from Ramasha's point of view how that night went down?
As Ramasha was beginning to get everyone into position, ready to storm the top decks. It was a perfect night, especially since they were just getting ready to resupply. They figured they'd down the rest of their supplies of booze. Excellent night. Not by maybe a suggestion or two from Mugwort, but as this was taking place, as they were doing
I
this...
can't wait to get my hands on a woman when we get to town! sir.
At this, we're all going to get to the doors. We're going to have some of our people, just one or two, that are getting ready to just kind of shuffle the people that would make a fuss into their own cages and just kind of stop them and block them from causing problems. The rest of us are at the ready, and we have the signal. Right as we're about to do it, we do the cat signal. We all storm the top deck.
Yeah, and so these people that had gotten drunk passed out down below. I'm assuming they were ended pretty quickly.
There is no doubt, absolutely whatsoever. Our claws are incredibly sharp, even just able to come up behind them as they're just right there. Just one quick slice from our claws on the neck. Down for the count. Keep moving. Everyone just moving in tandem. The fire raging within us. Everything they had just done to us. Pile driving our efforts, going through these people as if we were just a scythe through weeds.
And as you start thrashing your way through the upper decks, there's a little bit of like, oh fuck, what's happening? Oh my god!
Mugwort, on me!
And someone starts running towards the bell. Let's see what it looked like. Go ahead.
Is that a 9 or a 6? That's a 9.
Okay, their first was a nat 20, so someone saw it coming and went running. And you saw this person running. And so you tried to go after them, and they're running towards the bell.
I'm assuming at this point, what did I have for a weapon?
I think you were just bare claws at this
There's just
point.
Is there something that I can grab on the way?
Depends on if you're thinking about a gun, because that would be
Nope.
bad. Okay. I mean, yeah, there's sticks. There's not the crates of weapons from downstairs.
No, but I mean,
So
they
improvised.
would typically, on decks of ships, they would have axes or something sharp handy just in case they had to cut the ropes for their sail.
I'll say you're able to find a pretty good-sized knife.
Okay. I'm going to scoop it up, and I'm just going to chuck it to him. Chuck it
Alright.
right at him just as he's starting to ring the bell.
Yep, so this guy runs up to the bell, and he's like, oh my god. Ding, da, da! And the knife goes through his throat.
Mugwort, quickly! We're going to storm. We're going to just barrel through the door to get into the captain's chambers.
Okay, so as the rest of the slaves sort of start barreling through as quietly as possible, getting all of those other crewmates, Mugwort and Ramasha go through the doors into the captain's quarters. And as you burst through the door, you have a gun pointed at you. He says, you didn't think I was that stupid, did you?
No. But you seem to be, since you're hesitating to shoot me. Now you're done for.
And from behind you, a small dagger comes flying from Mugwort's hands into the throat of the captain. And he says, I'm tired of your talking. And the captain's like,
At that moment,
and he falls down and doesn't even shoot his gun.
I'm going to reach down, and I'm going to pick up the gun,
That was a nat 20 for Mugwort, too.
and I'm going to hold it up. We have won, brother. We have won. At that moment, as he's down there making noise, I'm just going to step on the dagger and make it go a little further.
And he just looks at you with pure evil in his eyes.
Making sure that dagger
No remorse.
sinks into the deck so he can't get up.
And we convinced this guy what a land herring is.
So true.
I don't know how. So, at this point, making sure that there's no one in here, making sure everything's all set and so forth, I'm going to go back out on the deck. Douse the lights! Douse the lights! Everyone douse the lights!
They're following your instructions.
Is that everyone? Did we get everyone?
I think we're good. I think we got everyone. And you hear a little... as if a whistle for we're good.
Listen.
And you start to hear sort of, oi! From far away. Because the ships are, obviously, you can't have two big ships right next to each other. But you hear a distant, like, oi! Like you can hear from the other ship. There's questioning sounds coming.
They're coming. We have to prepare. Everyone get to your quarters. Get to your positions. We don't want them to see us, and we're going to storm them as well. How many are going to be on that ship, Mugwort?
It's smaller than this ship. Probably about half.
Let the games begin.
Alright. So, as the ship makes its way closer and you hear these yells sort of starting to come into focus, you're hearing, "Oi! What's going on over there? Why'd you ring your bell? Report!" You know, just these sort of like comments that you would expect to hear until anyone that is looking over the edge of the boat can see the other boat. And you don't hear what they're saying, but you do hear mumbling at this point. Just sort of general talking. You're assuming it's what the hell is going on, you know.
At this point, I'm assuming one of the tribal, or the people that are helping us were a druid of some kind.
There's a possibility. What are you looking for?
I'm looking to have one of them actually cast a mist, and just have it so it's very, very difficast to see.
It was already a misty night.
It's already misty? Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Because it was almost dawn, so
Okay.
it was already nice
Cast
and misty.
fireball on the ship.
Cast fireball!
Fireball!
There's a wizard in the How big is the room?
You definitely had a magical...
That's not the question I asked.
You
The question I
Clancy?
asked was how big is the room?
There definitely was magic users that helped silence some of the people, unless you killed the slaves that were willing to help the Black Sails. Then you had some magic users that were able to silence them that night.
We'll deal with them later.
Yeah.
For right now, they're scared. They're petrified. They don't know what to do. They don't think they'll survive.
Yeah, so those people
They
are
might
tied
change
up.
their story later.
All right, so as this boat sort of comes closer and closer, and you hear, "We're docking! We're boarding! What's going on?" And you hear like these sort of like just so murmuring, almost like this is the least organized you've seen them the whole time you've been on there. Because there's panic in some people's voices. And so this is what you were kind of hoping for, this sort of like they might be falling apart. And so you hear the boards hitting the boat. Obviously, this ship is lower, so they're actually going to be walking up. Yeah, like the plinths or whatever you'd call it. And you hear people climbing up, and it's sort of one person at a time at first. So it's really simple. Like this one person comes up and goes, "Oi, what's going on over here? Hey, Captain!" and starts yelling out other names.
Literally, some of us, there were still just a couple people just acting out as if they were just up there scrubbing the decks and just, oh. But then the rest of us are just hiding behind whatever, behind barrels,
Hey, what was
in
that
behind
bell?
the doors.
Bell? I didn't hear a bell. Don't fucking play smart with me, and he grabs him.
No!
But you gotta do it a little quietly because it's just one guy. But yeah, and so
I thought they were coming on.
Well, this is one guy coming on at a time.
Oh.
And then they send on, maybe one or two.
Okay.
But yeah, this
Never
is
mind.
essentially...
Never mind. Back it up. Sorry. Battle cry's not yet. All right. So, at that point, as soon as he grabs him, just kind of sneak up,
Yeah.
pulls him down.
And, it goes about an excruciating 5 minutes when people are like, "Hey, Javis! And someone follows him up, and now it's 2, and then it's 3.
Mugwort, knock on the door. Knock on the door. Bang on it.
What is going on up there? And so they're sending, a few more people slowly through these, and it's almost as if it's like literally just child's play, like, because they're coming up. About 10 people came up almost individually.
Okay.
And Mugwort's like, "There's no more than another 10 on that ship.
We do it now.
Now you're battle cry."
Now, everyone, now! We all storm out and slash right through them, all weapons, just going through
the
them.
ship is so close that they can practically jump down to the level.
All these tabaxi and all these weapons sliding into this group of men huddled in the middle of this boat, like shurikens coming from ninjas, just straight through them. And then at this moment,
Screaming rage.
immediately with that same momentum, turning and jumping across onto the other ship to take the rest.
And you hear just like, no, what? No! And the first mate, who would have been the last in power, sort of left, who was in the captain's quarters of the second ship, sort of comes running out and he goes, what do you think you're doing? And he pulls up his gun and he aims it at Treyer, and gets him. And
at this, I'm just going to
Mugwort is like, ah! And he tries to get him out of the way, but Treyer is just like,
at this,
he falls.
Ramasha just turns to him, blood red in his eyes, storms over, kicks him down to the floor, and puts his foot right on his chest, ripping the gun out of his hands, pointing his own pistol now in his hand directly at his head.
Give me a roll on it. Give me a cool roll.
16.
Oh yeah, that's exactly as you described it. He just knocks it right out of him, and he's like, and the guy's like, what do you think you're doing? You're gonna pay for that.
Yep, as soon as I'm putting the flintlock right against, like, pointing it directly at his brains. Never mind. You're not even worth the ammunition. I'm just gonna bash in his face with a gun.
Which would take more than one hit, but okay.
I'm assuming I have the musket still?
Oh, he shot him with a pistol.
Oh, he shot him with a pistol.
Yeah.
I thought he had a
the first
musket.
mate.
Okay.
He's like a captain.
Okay, still.
But yeah, you would have had to beat him more than once, but yeah.
I'm gonna pistol whip him to death.
Just for Masha blind rage.
Land octopi.
This if you've seen The Patriot, this is literally that moment that his son was just killed, and this is the last guy, and this is that moment of hack slash. There's gonna be nothing left of this guy.
Dominic, we have to
Horribly
succeed
inaccurate historical movie.
It's very true.
Dominic, we have to succeed every single roll to try to, when we try to play jokes on him, we have to succeed every single roll. We cannot fail.
As long as it's Constitution, Dex, or Strength, we're
Not
solid.
history. Not history.
That's the problem.
Anything else, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, count me out.
Cool.
Cool. We're not gonna die. I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
And at some point after you have been beating this guy, Mugwort comes to you and says, Ramasha, you're not going to bring him back. We're done. It's done. And he sits you down and he's like, and you're covered in blood. He's like, you did it. We did it. The ships are ours.
This is just the beginning. We're not done yet. For them, I'm gonna look over at, what is his name?
Treyer, I think I said.
Treyer? I'm gonna look over at
He
Treyer.
didn't live long enough to
It had to be Treyer.
Was he wearing a red shirt?
Yes.
I hope the captain was wearing his brown pants. Because at that moment, we have to do it for him. We have to succeed. This is only the beginning. We still have to take the island.
We can do it. We can collect ourselves. We're only a few knots, miles, whatever you'd say. Out. I'm not a sailor, sorry. We can do it. There's not going to be much at the dock. They never are. It's just a bunch of people, like it's just a couple of people to help take the ropes in. Half the time they're sleeping every single time I've ever been there.
If this is the case, we need to make a plan now. I'm going to reach my hand out for him to help me up.
He's going to help you up and start wiping you off a little bit.
Ramesh is going to get it. So I'm assuming the ships are touching at this point?
They're close. Yeah,
close to touching. Yeah, just does a face, just a handprint. Nah. But no, Ramesh is going to get up and he's going to stand on one of the railings on the side of the ship. Just kind of standing there so everyone can see him. Listen, everyone! Listen. You've done well. This was excellently well done. We managed to take them both, but we're far from done. This is only half of our mission. We must take the island. If you want to survive, this is what we will do. Good start. Take a moment. Get yourself some food. Get yourself something to drink. None of the booze. We do not touch the booze.
They're gathering up. You have lost some other than Dreyer. There were a few lost that weren't quick enough or whatever, that people got the drop on them. So they're sort of taking their losses.
How many were lost?
5. Including Dreyer.
Including Dreyer. We will remember them. We must do this for them. We must do this for our families, pointing off towards the islands.
And you hear this sort of like low...
Together, as one, we will take this island!
Ah!
Now, I need all of you, you 3, and you, all take this ship. The rest of us, get on here. We need to start cleaning up quickly. We need to get ready for this. Gather the guns. Gather whatever you can. Gather as many weapons as you can possibly muster. We need to take this island. How many are going to be on the island when we get there?
Well, on the
I'm sorry,
island,
on the docks when we get
on
there.
the docks, we'll probably be dealing with only half a dozen at most. It's the settlement in town. There'll be a few more dozen, and maybe some slaves who are on their side, but maybe some slaves that aren't.
Anyone
There's
who
also plenty
fights,
of innocents probably there.
anyone who fights with them is one of them. Do I make myself clear?
Even the other ones that were in the cage before kind of nod at you, and the ones that don't seem to be in agreement don't look. They just sort of look. People are either agreeing or just staring at you.
I'm not asking you to fight now. I'm asking for us to survive. If you wish to survive, you will do as we do. You do not have to fight. You will stay in the cage. I will not have someone I cannot trust at my back. The rest of you, get ready.
All right. And this doesn't need any sort of fog because this sort of comes into the next day. Or as dawn, it's right before daybreak as these ships sort of make their way into this, it's an old dock. It's an established dock on an island which was formerly known as Black Sails Bay. It was a small settlement, so you're coming up to a dock large enough for your ships to dock at. But there's no towers, there's no fires, there's no big lights waiting for you. It's clear that it doesn't even really look like anyone's awake. And Mugwort kind of had told you beforehand, usually they ring the bell when they're coming in.
This is perfect. Everyone stay quiet. How many of you have docked a ship before?
All the ones that were there before you, which almost all the ones that were there before you that are of your kind. So there's, at least a half a dozen on each ship that are able to help with it.
Okay.
They said, we'll need to jump off. It'll be a little harder without someone there to catch the ropes, but we can do it.
Okay. At this...
Once we jump off, though, the people who are going to go to deal with them are going to need to jump off at the same time. We'll need to have some people docking the boat and some people going to handle the people that are at the dock. There's at least one place for people to sleep, but some of them sleep right on the dock, and then there's one watchtower on each dock. And we're going to the south dock.
That's okay. I figure we should still be able to board. We'll be able to get on the dock and go through quickly. I need you leading. You know where they are.
And he sort of motions to a few people to get on the ropes and stuff like that.
3 teams. Guys, divvy them up as need be.
And actually, Mugwort's actually, I'm going to go after the person in the watchtower, because I promise you it'll be the most important person there that's up in the watchtower.
What do you need me to do?
You keep on with your plan, friend. You're the savior of this mission.
Of course, but I do not know the lay of the land. I need you to tell me where I need to be.
And at this point, you can see he's sort of showing you through the spyglass. He's like, once we get up there, and you can see 2 people that are out in the open on the docks, and then you can see the shadow of a structure. He says there may be a small handful of people in the structure, but besides up in that tower where the bell is, that's pretty much what you see is what you get.
Right. At this point, also, he's taken the pistol, and it's in his pants.
the captain's pistol.
Yep. It is now his.
Dun dun dun.
Or are you just happy to see me?
And the captain's sword, right?
No.
My bad, I didn't say that. Never mind.
Okay. At this point, Ramash is gathering the fastest tabaxi with him. Doesn't matter how strong they are, he needs quick, he needs agile, he needs quiet.
Yep. You can go up to people gathered around you.
And then Mugwort can take over who he wants, and then the other ones are going to be having weapons. They're going to be coming from behind to clean up whatever we missed.
Mugwort arranges the people to get the ropes and the ship's docked, but he goes to the tower by himself.
You're going by yourself, friend.
We can't have a bunch of people climbing up that tower. And if it's who I think it is, I want to meet him alone.
I trust you. Be safe. All right. So,
all right.
We dock.
All right. So as the ships sort of come in, you can see what you thought you saw through the spyglass, where there's a few like sort of hammocks set up on the dock practically, and there's a couple of people just sleeping with bottles around them on the dock. Very clear that the people on this dock were not expecting anything this early, etc., and are used to being notified when people are coming. As the ships sort of come up, one on each side of the dock, the ones that have been tasked to the ropes sort of jump down with the ropes and get them tied up. You have never had experience with these large ships before. You've only dealt with small ships, and it's almost beautiful to see the dance of how they slide down with the ropes and get them tied up really quietly. And you can see that they're very experienced with this. Mugwort sort of just glides out of your view as you start leading the pack towards the people on the dock. You're able to sneak up very easily on the people that are sleeping, however you'd like to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming that everyone, there was a tribalman, there was any of these tabaxi that are with me, they're going to know how to hunt, they're going to know how to be quiet, they're going to know how to kill, they're going to know all the points to actually hit on someone to kill someone. Anyone else that is not tabaxi or is back with the others that are coming from behind with weapons and such, they're literally there just to clean up, and in case once things actually stir a racket, if it stirs a racket, they're there as the flanking backup.
Okay. So as your team sort of ends these sleeping pirates pretty quickly,
hand over mouth, claw over throat.
You can also hear, as you're moving towards the dark structure on the shore, you can hear the climbing and the creaking of the boards on the tower, and you sort of look up. You can't see anything, but you hear a very soft gurgling sound that you can only confirm to be a swift death. And Mugwort sort of pops up and gives you a small thumbs up and a sort of a wink to sort of mean that he's meeting you around.
Okay, I'm just going to give him a nod, and we're going to continue. Do we run into anyone else? Is there any commotion?
The two that you dealt with on the docks was it. As you go up to that dark structure, and there seems to be no door facing you, you'll have to go around the building. And it's a very ramshackle sort of seaside hut, shack kind of thing. And you can hear snoring. It's a very plain shack. You can hear snoring coming from inside of it. Heavy snoring. And no talking.
Okay. I'm going to go to the door. I'm assuming it's not locked. I'm going to try the door.
Yep, not locked.
I'm going to lift up on the door a little bit towards the hinges so the hinges don't make noise. I'm pinching them so there's no sound.
Yep, just barely a slight...
All strength on that door, moving it.
Yeah.
As if picking it up.
Yep. It made a very slight sighing noise, but no one in the room seemed to react. And you set your nicely cat eyes, since you can see in the dark pretty well, on a half a dozen sleeping pirates in different sleeping mats. Nothing fancy at all. They smell, they're unshaven, they look disgusting, and they smell disgusting, and they are yours for the taking.
Okay. I'm going to just look back at my fellows and just indicate with the finger, come. And I'm just going to position myself, and I'm just going to point at each one as we go along, as in saying, take your positions.
Make one roll d20 for me.
Ooh! That's a 3.
All right. So, as people start walking in, there is a slight stirring because someone trips over someone. But almost as if on cue, all these tabaxi that are almost at a bloodlust at this point sort of see it happening at the same time. So there's this sort of, hey! And lots of gurgling sounds.
Lots of death baps.
Yeah, death baps.
It's at this moment that Ramasha realized he liked bapping.
And so it was very scary for a moment, but and after it all, the one tabaxi is like, sorry.
All right. Is that everyone?
And Mugwort's like, it's definitely everyone who's at the dock. There's no other structures here. There is another dock on the island, but it's a couple of miles from here. I really think our best bet is going after the settlement because the dock is like a few miles from here. The settlement is only about a mile. And if they're all sleeping now, we have a far greater advantage on there's got to be 24 or less of actual pirates there. Usually. Unless for some reason... I've never seen more than that many here.
I agree. We'll take the settlement. The people on the dock will not be expecting an attack from behind. I'll take your word for it. Let us go. Let us gather our forces. We need to get everyone ready and armed. Gather all of their weapons.
Yep, and so everyone starts looting everything, looting both ships, sort of collecting in the last hours of darkness into dawn, where you had just been able to barely see into these places because it was starting to become dawn. You're starting to get into some light as you start making your way into the settlement with all of the captives that are willing to help you. You have tied up the ones that are not willing to help still, and you made your way into what seems to have been a thriving settlement at one point. It's not ruins, but it hasn't been cared for. And Mugwort has told you that they took this place from whoever lived here originally. And as you sort of...
As he had told me that, I'm just literally... Ramash is just going to get that even more of a deep taste in his mouth. More death at their hands.
They take everything that they want.
Not anymore. Not while I'm alive.
I like the way you think, friend. And they sort of, as these warriors make their way into the town, the people are still sleeping. It had been a sort of quiet night. No bells have gone off on the island. The only chance you almost got caught was on the ships. And you played it so carefully as you got in that no one would have expected them to really get into their sort of inner sanctum like that. This was a place that not many people knew of. And so as you made your way in, these sleeping pirates sort of fell one by one in a way that I'm sure you felt gratifying because you didn't need to sink to their level as much unless they tried to take it out on you, kind of thing.
It was nothing. To Ramasha, this was absolutely nothing. They are just a means to an end. They must all end. And each one of them is just a thread of the tapestry of Deathbringers. And he will unweave the entire tapestry.
And so as you sort of came into the settlement and into the rooms where you found many of the people sleeping, there were a great deal you can see of people that were either captured or obviously not a part of the crew, escorts and things like that. And so I'm sure that your party only went after what seemed to be the pirates in their sleep.
Yes.
And what would you like to describe as the sort of final act in the town before you sort of go into the center?
the final act in the town. Any pirates that we're finding obviously are going to be completely annihilated. As far as the people, they're going to say, I'm just literally going to look at them. If anyone's actually awake, are they waking up at this?
So there. Let's do one more roll.
Oh, 4.
Okay, so there was occasional sort of, yet again, someone getting a little bit tripped up, but most people were able to clean it up real quick. There was nobody that got to the bell.
Good. Okay. And at this, anyone...
Nobody got up. The closest anyone got was, what? You know.
What about people that aren't pirates?
People that weren't pirates, so you had a couple of the escorts and other enslaved wake up and be like, and then sort of like, just sort of back away from you. And
I'm not
if they
here
saw
for
you. Yeah. Then they would just not hinder your progress.
Actually, at that, if Ramash is in that room when he finds this, especially if there's a pirate in there, the pirate's just going to die. And then with her... if she's going to stand up and at that moment, I'm not here for you, and he's going to offer her some coverings, and then is going to walk out the door.
She just sort of looks at you.
And then just keep proceeding. They need to die. I need to save these people now, too. Obviously, there's people here that have already been captured, and they need to be saved. This is our moment. We need to keep moving. Keep going.
So as Ramasha is making his way through this town, he hears, as he's making his way to the center of the town and the other groups are sort of spreading out to the side, he gets to this area and he hears some roaring and just grumbling and this walled off area.
Literally gonna look at Mugwort. What is that?
I don't want to go in there.
It's a land hearing.
That's where they send...
It's a goddamn wyvern is what it is!
That's where they send the ones that don't listen. And a couple of people around him shiver.
What is it?
A monster.
No. It is not a monster. To these ones, I am the monster. And Ramash is going to walk right
Ramasha,
in.
don't! No one follows you in. And they close the door behind you. And as you walk into this dimly lit pit almost...
I'm literally looking to see if there's actually anybody still alive in there, too.
You do see body parts strewn around, dead rodents, dead goblins, a few other, like I said, body parts. And over in the corner, you see a lump that is very obviously alive and breathing, and you hear the groan coming from that.
Did you do all this?
And something stands up to be 8 feet tall at the sound of your voice and turns around. And even before it turned around, you saw the scars and it's chained in manacles on its hands and feet as well. And turning around to face you is a gigantic bugbear with a muzzle strapped to its mouth and a dagger in its eye. And it's just like at you. And it starts walking towards you.
Ramash is just going to stand still and stare at it.
It's going to come all the way. He's just... And he's going to roar in your face and get spit all over your face. And this hot breath right in your face.
I'm not here for you. I'm here to kill them. If you're not one of them, then you should not be with them.
Make a roll.
17.
Alright, so you see this, slight hesitation in the one eye of the bugbear as its hot breath is still just all in your face. And it's like... like almost like a question.
What? It's like muzzle and
It has a muzzle, it has a dagger in its eye, and it's chained in both hands and feet, and has scars all over.
Okay. And there's nothing to free it in here? It's not like the muzzle can come off or anything?
You have found a handful of keys over the course of your time killing people. So, yeah, I mean, we could see how long it takes you to get that key.
2.
Okay, it took you a little while to figure out which one it was, but you did have the key. And
hold still.
And every time you got the wrong key, the thing was like
not another word.
More warmth and spit all over you.
Every time it's like starting to get a little grumbly, like shut it.
And so as you take the manacles and do you take the muzzle off?
I take the muzzle off.
And take the muzzle off. And it's staring at you like grunting with his dagger in its eye.
I'm going to get closer to him, grab him by the face, and turn to look at the dagger in his eye. Shut it! I can't do anything for that right now. But later.
This was the most pathetic sound you've heard from it in ever.
Do not hurt my people. You can do as you will. I'm gonna go kill them. And no more of this. Unless they're pirates. And this is the first time that Ramash has actually removed his face from facing him and is walking out.
And you sort of hear that sort of like low grunt, almost as a... not an agreement, but you definitely don't hear aggression in the grunts. And as you walk away, the thing just sort of like looking around its area and looking at the things you took off of it.
Okay. I am literally going back to Mugwort, opening up the door and just being like, what?
What did you just do?
I already told you. There is no greater monster on this island right now than me. Let's make it happen. And he's going to start marching towards the, what is it, a fortress?
This was, yeah, I mean, there's not much left. This was, yeah, you've already taken care of at least half of the people.
Is there not someone in charge here?
There's still a nicer house in front of you.
We're going to the nicer house.
Yep. Yeah. As the pirates make their way, or not pirates, as the freedmen make their way towards the nicest house on the island after having taken care of at least a half a dozen to a dozen pirates, quietly, also, as you are coming to this house, you do hear the... And you look behind you, and the big beast is behind you. And it's just sort of looking at your people and looking at the house and panting.
I'm going to look at it. Is this where they live?
And it roars very loudly.
Too late.
And on that, Mugwort goes running.
Towards the house?
Yep.
Okay. This is where I found my saber. I'm assuming if it's not actually on the person that's in charge, it was mounted on like a mantle or something.
Mounted sounds good in his office.
Yep.
As you make your way in, bursting through the doors.
Charge!
At this point, there will be people waking up, and there will be a little bit of battle. But as the new men make their way in and start just decimating and making way for this gigantic beast that Ramasha has freed to plow the way through. This thing has made it clear that it does trust you, at least, and has not harmed anyone that has not harmed you so far. And as the sort of chaos ensues, it's almost similar to the pirate captain's office, where you come to this door and you know what you're gonna find behind it. You know it's been too loud. You know someone knows that you're coming.
Is the big guy still behind me? I'm just going to turn. I'm going to look at the door. I'm going to turn to look at him. Do you mind opening this jar of pickles for me?
And he just goes running. Just... And you hear as he busts through the door, BOW! BOW! Multiple gunshots.
At this, as he's charging through, both Mugwort and I'm assuming Mugwort's right there, right behind him. We are the gust of wind directly behind him as they're pushing him through. And then fan out and come in on top of that guy as we come in right behind him as he's our
There was 2 guys
shield.
in the room. Yep, there was 2 guys in the room, and they each took a shot, but it was not enough. They tried to get their weapons out. It was not fast enough. That bugbear had their heads clonking together, and the rest of you sort of piled in.
melons.
And this bugbear, you can see this sort of rage that you share, and even Mugwort sees this sort of shared rage of trauma, I guess. And the fact that after the beast sort of grabs these guys and destroys them, he's sort of like, "Ah!" And then he looks at you and he's like, "Ah!" He doesn't do anything aggressive. And Mugwort is like, what did you say to him? What did you do?
I just helped another fellow brother. Mugwort. No one is beyond redemption.
Wow.
Except for them.
Wow. That's taking it to a new level, Mermasha. You really are a different breed.
At this, is the guy who's in charge still there?
He was one of the 2.
Oh, he was one of the 2? Alright, at this, I'm going to turn and look at him. Speaking of which, what do I call you?
Strug.
Strug! Okay. Okay, Strug. Strug, is it? Strug?
Strug.
You did good. Go see my people. Get healed. And we'll take care of this as well.
Mugwort's still eyeing him, but he's like... And you can see there's a story there that you may have to hear another day.
Ramasha's literally like, did I tell you about the time I tamed a bugbear?
And at this, Ramasha is going to go walking over. I'm assuming there's a mantle or there's like a fireplace or something. And there's the sword.
In this office, you not only found a beautiful sword sitting on the mantelpiece with the name engraved into the hilt. Rosaline, not Rosalind. But you also see...
You will be my child of war.
Open on the desk, this map. And in this map is a poem, and I don't have my notebook on me.
Ooh, oh, this is getting deep.
It's your original poem. Is my purse right there? My notebook is in the purse. Okay, so on the pirate's desk is a map, and on the back of the map is a poem of sorts that reads
something amazing.
Okay, here we go. Where freed trees embrace in lover's kiss, and pale young sunbeams lay waste the mist, there I sit on faded stone, a keeper atop my mighty throne. And there is a drawing of a clearing with trees twisted together, forming a unique angle that you're pretty sure you recognize trees that look like that. On my throne you'll take a rest and find the answer that you seek. You'll feel your wants and dreams are blessed, and your wishes come true within the week. And there is a drawing of an ornate throne in a dark, immense cavern.
Ramash is literally reading this and looking at this, sinking his claws deep into the desk. They killed them over treasure and trade. And for the first time since this whole thing has started, he's really starting to feel that dread, those emotions, that sadness wash over him as he's finally has that moment to feel that his family's gone. At their hand. And for what? What is this? Still very, very stoic, but still a single tear comes pouring down. We must go take the other dog.
Yes, my friend. And that's a sort of missed moment. As the freedmen, as they have been come to know, take the final handful of pirates that were on the dock throughout the rest of that morning, and sort of go through the ashes of who is left, who wants to stay, who has a home to go back to. And though that night was marked with so much sadness, as this mist sort of clears and we come to a few years later, we see a view of this island looking very different than it did that night. We see wide varieties of exotic races of people tending to their homes, tending to the docks, tending to their children, as a sort of thriving community has started to build and grow on what is now known as the island of Wayhaven. And Ramasha has been getting ready to go off and to get his, not only to help the island get their yearly seeds and sprouts for the spring, but also to look for more folks who need room and who need freedom.
And at this point as well, with Ramasha having been dealing with people more than he ever has before, as well as since this entire incident took place, his heart has started to open up small amounts, little bits at a time, little bits of sadness pouring out, spurting out as if under great pressure. But that pressure is enough to relieve and allow a little bit of warmth to come in that he can offer his people. The sight of the children running and playing and seeing their mothers take care of them and chase after them, always a reminder of what had been. This is what we fight for, Mugwort. This is what will be. We can't stop now. Same as before. We must save all of them.
And you can see Strug sort of walking across your view, carrying an entire wagon full of barrels with an eye patch covering his wounded eye, or what was his wounded eye, and with children riding on his back and laughing.
I'm assuming he's still in like the clothing he was before, like a loincloth. That's kind of what he's comfortable with. But I'm assuming someone's knitted him a hat, and that's what he wears all the time now.
Yep. And he still doesn't talk much, but he's very much a part of the community.
You catch an occasional giggle. Okay.
I would say that is a most beautiful rounding out of Ramasha's story.
So that was just as
That was
intense as the
freaking
Alden action.
intense! Jesus, Mary and Joseph!
Yeah.
Now you get to explain lore-wise what happened for him to get tricked so easily all the time.
we gotta figure that
Well,
out.
see, he trusts you all, and you're just telling him mundane information. You're not. He doesn't think that you're trying to pull one over on him in the sense of that he thinks his life is at risk.
True.
Yeah.
Well, he did think it at one point.
He was.
And then we convinced him that he was crazy in thinking that.
But this is also
We gaslit
why
him.
when I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't remember your character's name at the moment. Dominic. Jesus. When I did not know Dominic, especially when it was suddenly like asking more about the mission. Hey, what's the mission? What's the mission? What's the mission? That was instantly like, cut the shit.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, and shout out to Kaylee for fantastic bugbear noises.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That was something Bill threw into the story like last minute, and I was like, yeah, we can totally do that.
Oh, it was. Question did come up in chat. If you could explain what a bugbear is.
Oh, so yeah, bugbears are giant, almost like wolf-like humanoids that stand 6 to 8 feet tall, and they're known for bullying goblins and just being real bullies. And in this case, the island of Black Sails Bay was using this bugbear as a sort of punishment for the slaves who didn't listen.
Yeah. They're like a very, very oversized goblin. Kind of picture like if you mix an orc with Wolverine.
Kind of.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, and I do...
And I'm going to tell you... Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry that got so intense. Ramasha's story is kind of very sad, but I think you did a beautiful job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to Reality Break 20, where we traumatize our players and ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
Only
in a
tragic
good way.
stories here.
Exactly. In a good way, it is going to be very hard for me to play Roland the way he knows Ramasha now, knowing all that shit.
and these are things...
But Roland doesn't know
Right,
it.
he doesn't know everything,
That's
but these are
the
things
thing.
that
He
when-
doesn't know it, but I have to pretend like I don't know it.
Well, and when the stories do come up, it'll be, I think, a little easier to be like, when Ramasha sort of gives you a quick answer, there's a little more to it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And there was also that moment, I can't remember exactly when it was, but there was a moment that reminded Ramasha of some of the stuff that had happened, and that's why he was staring off into the distance and humming that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that everyone
good.
naturally picked something that had already happened and stuck it into this. I love that. All right.
We're suckers for lore. Have you not figured this out?
I love lore.
That's true.
Do we need a quick potty break? I would say only 5 minutes if we're going to take one.
Yeah, I just need to check to make sure the 8-year-olds
I need a potty break anyway, so we
5 minute potty break.
5 minute break. The timer will not get down to 0. We will see you shortly. Enjoy some clips very briefly, and we will be right back to show you a little bit of Dominic's story, which is not as sad. I promise.
That's good.
All right.
Well, because I was worried because your friends seem to get mad at you.
Friend is a loose term. See, I say friend because while I don't really have any friends like you all, I have things that don't kill me, and I count that as a good thing.
That is fine.
Usually.
Yes.
I lived a life a long time ago, so I understand.
Right.
You do also call everyone
Would you
your friend.
consider us friends?
I do.
I would like to say that we are friends. Are we friends?
Well, we haven't killed you yet.
Well, then in my mind,
Cockney rhyming speak, so I have something. I'm gonna butcher it, so I apologize ahead of time.
Yes,
So I'm going to respond. I'm gonna respond. We're having a butchers for some real bucks that have been off-inching some bees and honey. These tea leaves have been showing their boats around the frogs and scoppering off. There's been some real bonny over it. We're helping out the ducks and geese to stay out of a flowery dell, and you'd be a real treacle tot if you could pass along any brass tacks.
Alright. Goes to kiss her and closes the door in his face.
You got a tongue in the door. Why would you do that?
Why do you go in tongue first? Learn your lesson.
Natural Jeff.
so
indeed a natural
He is a natural Jeff.
We rolled a natural Jeff.
He is not a box Jeff. He's natural Jeff.
Yeah. So organic, not from a box.
Yeah. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's natural Jeff.
There you go.
Looks at you, Morag.
It wasn't about taking away your choices. It was about putting magic in the right hands.
Nice. I like it.
Nice.
Hat off.
You're bringing the bodies?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we loaded up the bodies.
That's right. We were tying
onto-
up and doing the dragging thing.
Yeah.
So we didn't just leave them in the woods. Yeah.
You're dragging bodies down the road on your car?
We're not dragging them down the road. They're on like
we made a
little
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a sled. Like a sled.
We're not barbarian.
We're not just gonna leave them in the woods. Come on.
I'm not.
Jeffrey, that's the dogs. That's the dog.
Well,
Did you
thank you
hear
for
it in
telling
your
me,
mind?
ta-ta!
Did you hear that in my
He
mind?
can talk.
Oh, and you must be the Jeffrey.
There it is. The Jeffrey.
Now I want to hear that in Dominic's voice.
Yeah.
I will gladly give you a hug if you please sneeze into this jar. Thank you.
And he looks at you longingly. And hold on. Gotta check something. Gotta check something. Hold. Hold.
Was that good for longing?
Longing.
Yes, this is how the actual people you're training.
Now I need to
There's basically 50 elven children going all over the place. So, but with axes. Because it's axe training day.
That's it.
Cause we feel alright, let me build up your might as I sing my song. Care to sing along? I'll be doing this till you knock 'em down, or the songs run out, or the songs run out.
Yay!
Yeah!
I'm so inspired right now.
Yeah.
So you gave me the necklace, and I love it.
Thank you.
Do you still have the other half?
Of course. And he kind of
Good to
like
see it.
Yep, he kind of ruffles his
he's
shirt and
wearing
pulls it out. Yep.
Okay.
The thing where the smoke comes out.
Chimney! There you go.
Really? Really? I'm kidding.
That's amazing. That's so good.
It was mostly the face with a.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yes, go start.
You got to perform, but outside of that,
Absolutely. My inspo makes all the rolls less hard, and you all can thank this bard. And you're damn right. I pulled that card, and I could teach you, but I'd have to charge.
Love it.
Woo!
A round of applause. Round of applause.
Give him a hand.
A hand.
Now this, goblin knot. It's not a plant I've ever heard of, but it could just be another misspelling. Because maybe that K is an S. He sort of turns the paper a little bit. Yeah, that must be what it is. Parvovis cabolus muca involta. Goblin snot. Bugbear boogies. Used in pungent poultices and unctuous ointments due to its veritable viscosity. It binds ingredients together, provided you don't care how noxious the result is. For reasons I'm sure you can imagine, I don't keep any around. You'll have to ask a goblin.
You realize, Jeff, that for now and forever, every time someone says your name on stream, we're gonna be like,
Jeffrey!
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Y'all were like, whoa, what are you doing? So,
Yeah.
21.
That's fair. Jesus.
Huh.
On a stealth check?
It's +7.
this little boy
Jesus.
has a mission.
Oh,
today,
for
apparently.
dexterity.
How do you have so many huge pluses?
And so just
I've
to
got
be
a
clear,
lot of
Dee,
huge
you're, like,
things that you
literally
don't know
right.
about.
Like, you're
That needs to be clipped.
Good job.
y'all.
Both. It's a mix of both.
Looking, found something you have.
You're also blowing out on the mic.
Yeah,
A little
that's
bit.
very true.
Be here all night.
Oh.
And by all night, I mean
God.
for another hour.
Looks like that.
I can't see that.
Right there.
Oh, okay.
I would like you to.
There's a picture in the Discord. Yeah.
Fine. We don't have to do it then.
She's a very plain widow.
No. And like the metal of the armor is just gonna kind of like ripple up my arm and just show like the nub, and then it will come back.
Oh, yeah, what if Xing Xing did it?
Like very Terminator style.
Look at my nub.
Dun 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 dun.
That needs to be clipped.
Ask me about my nub.
Ask me about my nub.
Yes, exactly.
Take my strong hand.
There's like a vein popping out in your forehead, turning red.
This is my happy vein.
Happy vein. I got closer than last time. She looks at you and she goes, impressive.
So happy.
That's the exact same thing he said to you in the dream.
Go on.
That's it.
Fuck.
I am not Matt Mercer. Hi, I'm off-brand Matt Mercer. Great value, if you will.
Great value,
Mert Masser.
Mert Masser. Oh shit! No, I'm just Devin. It's fine.
And he's out of earshot at this point.
I'm just gonna yell back, thank you!
Bye!
Bang bang!
With my gauntlets. I'm not petty at all.
Nope. not at all. Bye.
Oh my God.
3 halflings in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is.
Oh my God.
We are doing
Okay.
that at some point because there are 3 of us.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
There you
Needs
go.
to be done. And I have
All
a
right.
trench coat.
Alright. But I'm
We like clips.
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 Clips are very important.
You should definitely make clips of today. If you don't, I will find you, and I will TPKO you.
Yeah, the music sounds great, but I can't hear you at all. Oh, there it is.
So that was
Oh no, so they
move
didn't
right
hear the
Pro
Yeah.
strap.
Professional streamer.
absolutely professional.
Yep.
That is what we do.
I want to do this for real when I grow up.
That's good. Because I was worried because your friends seemed to get mad at you.
Friend is a loose term. See, I say friend because while I don't really have any friends like you,
Welcome back, my friends.
To the show that never ends.
It ends in about 20 minutes.
Apparently, unfortunately, it does in 30 minutes. But in your hearts, it'll never
And
end.
agreed upon.
There we go. That's beautiful. Well done, Claire.
I hope you are all doing okay after that very heavy story of Ramasha's background. It is quite a sad one, quite an intense one, but he is quite a passionate character who has a beautiful backstory, and I'm glad that Bill did such a great job sharing it. And as agreed to previously, our friend Dominic has quite a short little prologue to share with us because he has quite a short little life that he has lived thus far. And so
You'll get there, kiddo. Don't worry about it.
This is quite
Gramps.
quite a perfect little spot to kind of fit it in. It should be a lot more emotionally lighter. It should be a lot more mechanically lighter as well. But another view of this wonderful world of Ocerrya and what our characters have experienced. And like I said to Tony, I'm actually going to have to search for my music as well at this point because I am delightfully surprised at how quickly we are going through these prologues because it means we get quickly to our friends going to sleep. And I mean, back to the story.
Oh God. Oh no. I fist pumped so much I misfocused my camera.
All right, so we have a song called Leaving Home coming up first. Wait.
There we go.
Oh no, Before the
You're
Storm.
back.
We have a song called Before the Storm coming up as our friend Dominic. This young, at this point, as the mist takes over and takes us back to, actually right around the time, just after Ramasha's story. Because this was only about 4 years ago. And our friend Dominic is a very young boy. A 12-year-old boy who has been... 11-year-old boy who has been struggling...
Even younger.
Don't age me.
in the little village of Left Solace, which is just
I
south...
thought you were going to say little villain, and I'm like...
He's a little villain. In the little village of Left Solace, which is just south of Sunmarsh Port. So this village is owned and governed by Sunmarsh Port. And Dominic had a pretty normal upbringing until around the time he could remember. And at which point things got pretty hard. And the constant fighting and abuse from his stepfather and quiet urgings from his mother that he was meant for more led him to decide that I think he really was, and that he couldn't spend the rest of his life in this little town.
So much for lighthearted.
This is getting deep.
Okay, sorry. At the beginning.
Sad.
So Dominic left because his father had died and his mother remarried to his father's so-called friend. He was very abusive towards his mother, and Dominic had to grow up very quickly, which is why his wisdom is slightly higher than his intelligence when it comes to modifiers. But he always liked archery and leatherworking, so he set out to make something of himself and learn a trade so that he could go swoop in and get his mother back and save her from the abuse more.
That's a beautiful little point of wanting to go get his mother back. Lovely. And I think that as he made his way out of the village of Left Solus and into the little village of Lightel, which felt a lot like his home village, he didn't feel very different, but he still heard rumors of the city of Aramor, the city with streets paved in gold, the city where anyone can be anything and no one can tell you who you are. And I think that other than just getting out of the chaos, that would have been a pretty much a driving force of somewhere that he could make a name for himself, at least in the early days. And as Dominic sort of made his way through the town of Lightel, getting a little of that leather working, staying with a couple of families, helping on their farms, but really feeling like this doesn't feel any different, he had heard rumors of the way to Aramor, where he could make his way through the towns and sort of keep doing the things he's doing, or he could go through the Old Oak Woods. They're not dangerous. As long as you're not harmful to the woods, many people have traveled those woods. It should be fine. Was kind of the feeling that he was given. And so as he found his way to the edge of the woods, it still probably would have felt sort of intimidating. And almost as if, am I actually doing this on my own? Kind of thing. And so, as you come into the trees and leave the beds that you had known, even though they weren't yours, and you make your way into the forest, how's Dominic feeling? What's he doing on his first few nights in the forest?
Dominic would set up camp so that he could just sort of feel a bit safer. Tony's punching the computer. Sorry. But he would also set up targets so that he could practice his archery while he was in solitude, forage for food, anything along those lines. But he would sort of feel like he shouldn't kill anything animal-wise or anything like that, but just sort of live off the land rather than killing for food.
And sort of almost as soon as he made that decision, it's almost as if every time he went looking for food because he was hungry, he found some mushrooms growing in the forest floor, or he found a bush of berries or a tree with some nuts. Like it's every time his body had a need, if he wasn't looking to harm the forest, as slowly he started to come to realize that the forest was providing for him. And the forest was almost responding to his nudges and his movements just as much as he was learning to respond to the forest. And as Dominic sort of found himself spending more and more days in the forest and finding his way, finding a meal, even occasionally finding an older animal that had died clearly and was just sort of almost left for him. And he was learning to listen to all of the words and the cues from the forest. It's almost as if he felt the forest teaching him that he had that power within him to change the weave.
Is Dominic the Lorax?
Yes.
I speak for the trees. And so what that maybe felt like to you as you explored learning harmony with natures and hearing the whispers of the magic in the wind and respecting the life of the forest.
Was that a question?
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
It cut out.
What it felt like for you to learn those things.
It felt like training almost, with just being one with myself and what I want out of life, leatherworking and archery, and just sort of learning how to exist by myself as a probably 12 to 13-year-old boy at this point. It just felt natural,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
And no, yeah.
You feel like a natural Jeff.
A natural death.
I do.
That would be almost the exact word, is that you had never felt at home really before. Like, you know that at one point you felt at home with your mother, but that was a distant memory, and that this sort of harkened back to a time when you felt safe and at home and where no one could hurt you, as long as you weren't doing the wrong things, kind of thing, which is, you know, deeply related to the childhood feeling of that as well. And sort of as you spent most of your time in the forest, there was also, as you made your way south, you found the settlement of Fraymore. And that settlement felt very different than Lytel, than Left Solis. That settlement felt like people who had a spark for life, who weren't dominated, who didn't feel like their lives were just under the thumb of someone, and what does it even matter? These were people who had goals, who had ambition. Ben Dabler, who was one of the most shining personalities you'd ever met. And the way that they talked about the goals in their life probably gave you a spark that you thought you had lost, even at your young age.
It pushed me.
And maybe if you want to talk a little bit about your going back and forth from Fraymore to the forest in those early years.
So pretty much all of the development with his sort of physique and archery abilities, any athleticism was all from the forest. When he left, he was pretty much a scrawny little 11-year-old boy, who didn't really know much, not very book smart because he was never taught. He sort of got his wisdom from just being in solitude with his thoughts and gathering conclusions on what he needed to do, what needed to go next, what needed to happen for him to move on. And yeah, he couldn't really work with leather too much. He took what he had learned from previous cities and sort of went over it and refined smaller skills on leathers that he had with him, but it was not super solidified until he got to Fraymore and was able to learn with Ben and the others in the village and in the city about all of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking about myself in the third person, okay?
Listen, Jeff, we said they were all going to look a little different.
Jeffrey!
I told you, intelligence is not, it's not great, okay?
Yeah.
Mine or Dominic's.
And I think that's really also kind of where you finally started realizing you could work with people and not only trust yourself. And even then, it was sort of guarded, and I'm sure that the situation with Sindel didn't help because you kind of, she maybe hurt a little bit of your trust, maybe even for the entire town of Fraymore. I don't know how much of that is for Dominic. That's up to you. But you knew Sindel before the rest of the party came back to Fraymore. You had heard of Ashrin, but Ashrin didn't know anyone that you knew of the new people from Fraymore. Mm-hmm. And just that sort of, I love that sort of fell into place, and that as Dominic sort of made his name in this town in a very different way than another one of our party had. And for Dominic, it was this sort of, I'm learning to trust the world because the forest has taught you that you can trust literally the world, but you're learning to trust people again.
Mm-hmm.
And is there... Yeah, and is there anything else that you'd like to add to Dominic's sort of experiences or story? I don't want to keep it too short for you.
Nope.
Nope.
It's very much it will unravel in time.
Dominic is so
but
young.
as far as like core memories, that's pretty much it. Because that was his life as of now.
No, there's
was
some lizard trauma
abuse.
in there.
A little bit of lizard trauma.
It was abuse, forest, Ben. That's pretty much his life so far.
Someone stole Dominic's lizard when he was but a boy.
How long was Dominic in the woods, and then how long was he in Fraymore before? I can't remember.
He was in Fraymore for about a year.
He was solidly,
because
he kind of showed his
Yeah.
face in Fraymore for probably at least a year or two before that. Yeah.
But I was still in the forest.
Yeah, because he was essentially in the forest for like 5 years almost.
No, he would go out of the forest. He lived in the forest. So like that's where his like homestead was.
Yeah.
But he would go out into the cities to do leather working, to refine skills, to get supplies, yada yada yada. Like he didn't just survive on berries.
And mushrooms.
I don't think you would have
But
grown
your
that tall.
homestead
Do you think I would
in
have
the
these
woods.
guns with just berries? No. I gotta get my protein, okay?
I mean, are they good berries?
Oh.
No, I don't know that spell.
And the interesting thing is that Dominic
I had a
didn't...
forest on my side.
In the forest, Dominic didn't encounter people. He encountered sort of feelings and lights and things that felt like beings. But he never encountered people in the forest.
Yeah. So pretty much from 11 on was in the forest, except for like a sprinkling of times in cities.
Villages.
So I would say
Villages.
Because
Hazelport would have been your first city that you actually made it to.
Yeah.
Yep.
3.5 of the 4 years that he's been out were probably spent solidly in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Abuse, nature, beds.
Yeah.
Us.
Yes.
Chaos.
And I think I really...
The happening, if you will.
Yes. And I think that's kind of a miss for Dominic. It does sort of wrap up Dominic's story, and not to shorten it, but I think that Dominic's story and Ashwin's story are the two that are the most evolving actively.
Even with that, those full-fledged descriptions you just gave were so much happening in my mind that literally just portrayed like fast forwarding through years of just dealing with nature and all the things that would happen with that. You know, suddenly a bed's provided for you that you just happen to come upon, and things like this, and everything just feels right to you. It just sounds really cool.
Yeah. He's a pretty simple dude.
Yeah.
I know.
Ouch.
I can read now. Or at least I'm learning. The pretty girl is teaching me.
Pretty girl.
Yay!
Wow.
Is that helping or hurting, I wonder?
It depends on the amount of drool.
I really want Roland though to like sit Dominic down for story time and just read a book to him and let him look at the look at the words.
The cat ran to the farm.
No, I didn't.
Ramasha ran to the farm. Got it.
Yay!
Ramasha.
I think that even though it was short, I think that was a beautiful sort of introduction to who Dominic is and how he has experienced this world. Because I think in a way Dominic is one of the people that has experienced the world the least and is actually the most sheltered of all of the characters.
Sheltered.
Literally by the forest.
He made a shelter in the forest.
And I appreciate everybody sticking with us through some of the heavy stuff that we went through. I think it came out beautiful, and I'm really proud of everything that we created tonight. And I think that we have a lot of insights into the world that helps us move forward. And I'm really excited to know that we're really only going to need one more episode of prologues before we get into the full-on story for Chapter 2, which means...
Get ready for more trauma with Olga's
Yeah, I'm sorry, there's more trauma coming. But, you know...
Who knew that Ashrins would be the most lighthearted? The Warlock has the most uplifting backstory. What the fuck?
Yeah. Spoilers, I actually had planned on originally, like back way before we started, having her relationship with her patron to actually be a positive one, to go against the whole D&D trope, but
and I think
it didn't work out that way.
It's going to be a lot of layers, because I think that you have shown that, Ashrin shows that there's a way that warlocks can sort of not teach their patrons, but, you know, it's not necessarily just do what I say. You know, that's not the whole relationship.
See? We'll find out.
You're in a business
find
together.
out.
It's a business
I love
transaction.
it. I am so excited to be playing D&D with you guys, and I'm so stinking excited about everything that we are creating here. This is my first homebrew world, so it's really exciting to see these things come to life. And
I'm excited to develop Olga.
Yes, I cannot wait
well.
to bring you Olga's story and Ashrin's story, and then literally I'm chomping at the bit to get back into the actual play. So, just so you know.
Alright, let's go.
It is unfortunately time to get back to the real world. But we really love that you've been able to join us tonight, and we hope that this episode and next episode has given you a lot of insight into the world and into who our characters are at their deepest core, and which can kind of inform who they are and why they're making the decisions that they do as we go forward. And you can catch our replays over on YouTube exclusively now. Great place to catch up. I believe there's still some Star Hill episodes coming up on Wednesdays, and then Ocerrya replays will be up on Thursdays. Correct? There's a couple of Star Hill still coming up. Those come up on Wednesdays.
Or not Wednesdays. The Star Hill is Sunday.
Sundays.
Just being uploaded, yeah.
So the rest of the Star Hills replays will be coming up on Sundays, and then Ocerrya replays will be posted on Thursdays. Check out our TikTok. Christy's going live on Sunday again, hopefully, as long as she's not too busy.
Hopefully.
As long as she's not saving lives out there of the animal kingdom.
Hey, I'll tag again. I got nothing going on, so if you need to go I was just saying.
I'm off so I'll actually be able to watch at least.
Keep you all posted.
Yep, we like to hang out in the chat. A lot of us are there in the chat. It's a really fun time for us. We're exploring TikTok Live and what it is. So we really appreciate all of your support and all of you being with us. And we cannot wait to bring you the rest of Chapter 2 in Ocerrya. And we will plan to see you all... Oh, I didn't even do it. Wait a minute. Let me go to the correct screen. Look, I have a whole ending screen for us. Oh!
Yeah. Let's go.
We're also going to get ready to raid some friends. Are we thinking Black Tower Stories, Goblins and Warlocks? What you guys want to do tonight?
Let's do Goblins and Warlocks. I feel like we haven't gone over there in a while.
Yeah, it has been a little bit.
Let's raid our friends over at Goblets and Warlocks, as long as I spelled that correctly. This channel is intended for mature audiences. So is ours, so I think we're good. Please bring some extra
You're
love
not mature audiences, just don't tell us.
and energy over to our friends over at Goblins and Warlocks. Thank you to Jeff and Chrissy for our amazing credits, video, and music. Thank you to all of our players for their beautiful role play. Thank you for the patience from our players who were not playing tonight. And I cannot wait to see what we have coming on next week. I guess until then, we're gonna go. Bye, everybody.
ETFN!